It's time for Intelligent Machines. Jeff Jarvis is here. Paris Martineau, our guests this time. The wonderful Steven Levy, probably the dean of technology journalism in America, editor-at-large at Wired, the author of so many great books, and recently a number of articles about AI. Steven Levy coming up next on I Am.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
This is Intelligent Machines with Paris Martineau and Jeff Jarvis, episode 838, recorded Wednesday, September 24th, 2025. Fat Bear's live now. It's time for Intelligent Machines. Yay! The show where we cover the latest in AI, robotics, and all the smart doodads surrounding us these days. Joining us right now, Paris Martineau, investigative reporter from Consumer Reports. Hello, Paris.
Hello, Leo.
Good to see you. Jeff Jarvis is also here, emeritus professor of journalistic innovation at the Craig Newmark Graduate School of Journalism at the City University of New York. Now at Montclair State University, and SUNY Stony Brook, the author of the Gutenberg Parenthesis and magazine. I thought they gave you a nice plug on CNN last week.
Did. Yes,
he rushed out of here to spend the entire hour debating Scott Jennings and Scott Walker. You poor fella. I'd be exhausted after all that.
Yeah.
And the irony is, of course, it was about the Kimmel story. Jimmy came back last night after all that.
Brilliantly, I think.
Yeah. Our guest, we like to start the show with an interview. I think it's a fun way to find out what's going on, the latest in AI. And our guest this week is a dear friend, a legend in technology, the author of so many great books, starting with Hackers, which was really the seminal story of the MIT hackers and how the whole computer revolution started. And if you haven't read it yet, by all means, read it. Steven Levy is here. He's a regular writer, a columnist for Wired. Great to see you, Steven. There is a stack of his books behind him.
I'd like to be here.
Yeah, we love having you on. Steven was scheduled to talk about that Facebook book that he wrote. And when COVID broke out, that was unfortunate. We're going to wake it up to you this week. You wrote the original plan on booking you was when you wrote an interesting piece. We've been talking a lot about the Anthropic decision. Anthropic had agreed to a settlement with the authors, $1.5 billion settlement. The judge said, no, not so fast. And I guess that's still up in the air. But your piece, I wasn't sure I wanted Anthropic to pay me for my books. I do now. Was kind of a contrarian point of view, I think, for a lot of people. But since then, you've been busy. You also wrote, I think, a scathing story. I thought I knew Silicon Valley. I was wrong, with an excellent illustration from Cold War Steve. Oh, no, Cold War.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there was another piece, which I thought was great. YouTube thinks AI is its next big bang. So we have a lot to talk about today. But let's start with the Anthropic decision. Why do you think it's a good thing?
Well, I'm not talking about necessarily this particular decision. We don't know what the settlement's going to be, right. But I think it's a good thing to pay the authors when you use their book in training. And I have to say, I was on the fence about this. And this was a little awkward for me because I'm on the council of the Authors Guild, which is suing these places.
Right.
They're involved in the lawsuits. I actually should say I speak for myself, not the Authors Guild. And when we vote on these things, they poll the council and we vote, should we sue or not sue? I abstain because I'm writing about these places. So I want to keep a little distance from going up to Sam Altman for an interview. And he's saying, by the way, aren't you suing me? And
I'll see you in court, Sam.
Yeah. So it's basically the same as if Kevin Roose talks on the New York Times is suing him. So I have a little arm's length of that. But I was, I think, a little unusual on the board. I'm a little more sympathetic to Silicon Valley than most of my colleagues on the board. And also, I appreciate the counter argument to authors getting paid by saying that training a large language model is something that takes in the world's knowledge, and it's kind of a good thing that we're able to put all that together and make use of it. Anyone could make use of it. So on the other hand, I'm a professional author. I'm a professional writer. I get paid, and it's not quite the same as, a bright human being reading voraciously and then taking that work and using it in their work and their life, because this is something that's millions of people are going to use, and that is a difference. But when I saw the Anthropic settlement, and it comes out to actually some, not giant money, but real money. If it turns out to $3,000 a book, I've written 8 books. My wife has written 5. So, that's a money that can help renovate a bathroom, right?
And that's
So
what it's all about.
$3,000 a book, that's a good deal. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then I thought, you know what? I'm really okay with this. I really feel, because books are one of the most important corpus that a large language model could use. Every book is a shot of a world. We build worlds when we write these books, and that is so valuable for the large language models to sort of understand humanity. And it's very high quality content. It's original ideas. It's a lot of language, spread out coherently. And I think those models will be impoverished without us. And now you look at the hundreds of billions of dollars that these companies are spending on infrastructure, and suddenly that 1.5 billion, which to be sure is for pirating books, not for training them.
Yeah, the judge
That's
ruled
key.
that they had fair use of the books they
we could talk about
purchased.
that.
If they had just bought your books and you would have gotten $2 each, then we
You wouldn't have
be
gotten anything because they bought used books, by the way.
Right. So now I'm thinking, this fair use interpretation, is trying to apply a 1930s way of thinking to, mid 21st century.
Now,
Doesn't work.
maybe it's changed since you wrote this article, because since you wrote this, Judge Alsup said, no, that's not a settlement. That's not a fair settlement. And in fact, the damages could run into the trillions for Anthropic
If they don't settle.
Yeah, it's 150,000 per violation.
his complaint wasn't necessarily with the amount; it was with the structure and the lawyers.
I understand, but by going back to the drawing board, there is this risk that it's going to be a hell of a lot more than 1.5 billion. And a precedent.
Yeah, but remember, that's for infringement. The precedent that really matters is the fair use. And,
I agree. Yeah.
And this is step one on it. There's going to be other steps. And, what really there should be is a rethinking of the law, though I'm a little worried considering who's running the country, how that would work out for authors. But
you would accept the fair use judgment, or you prefer to get some payment from these guys?
I don't think that, that interpretation of fair use in any way anticipated AI.
Yeah.
In the piece, you draw some parallels to kind of music licensing. Do you have a sense of what a fair or workable kind of collective licensing system for books could even look like?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really glad you brought that up, because one big reason, and Donald Trump cited this as the reason why you couldn't pay the authors, for what their writings, in a large language model, would be because it's so hard to do. It's hard to figure out. But they figured it out, without AI for music licenses. People go into bars and clubs and, listen, can log radio shows, and they figure out what slices to give and streaming and all the rest of it. I don't have the solution, but actually the Authors Guild is working with places to help figure that out. And I think there can be some way to do that. I'm talking to people now who are working in interpretability in AI, the way AI models, to get inside the model and see how they work. And I think actually it would be quite feasible to have a model saying, you know what, this output came because, it was 6% from hackers, Steven Levy's book. And then, there would be
with a link to the book itself so they could buy it.
Yeah, it could be a link, but or it could be that a little, like in Spotify, a little percentage of the pool,
a fee to you.
But that's part of the paradox of what's happening right now is companies like my former employer and now yours are cutting off with the exception of Google because they want to be in search, they're cutting off all of the AI companies. And Schibsted, the Norwegian company, just put out some stats today saying they've got a click-through rate from ChatGPT of 1.2 to 5%. 5%, by the way, for opinion pieces, not fact pieces, which is interesting. And so we're starting to see that AI is a new mechanism of discovery. So we aren't we replaying the old search argument? How dare you take the soul by taking a picture of me, but I want the links from you? Aren't we going to end up in the same place with AI? Or its discovery?
Any links coming from AI?
But there is. There's data now, and a place like Schibsted is making itself available, and they're getting links and they're getting click through.
But
there was
maybe
another
not
study.
To books.
Well,
Jeff.
no, it's in fact the study that we talked about last week says that ChatGPT is not linking to social at all, but it is linking to editorial matter, which includes books.
Yeah, but not book. Well, you're not going to link to a book because a book would be purchasable.
Well, that's to be the bigger question. Shouldn't we make our books linkable? It would be a good thing if they were.
I guess.
Well, you can always go to StevenLevy.com.
That's true.
And would that be acceptable to you, Steven, instead of a micropayment that they say, 13% of this story came from hackers, and then a link to StevenLevy.com?
No, they're getting money. They're getting money from that, from using.
So you want a micropayment?
This is it's like one more, licensing opportunity, just like someone might make a movie out of your book, you get some more money. Someone, would run it as a first serial, you get some money. It's another way to get paid.
I have heard the argument that there isn't that as much money as you think there is in AI. I mean, none of these companies are profitable.
Well, not right now, but they are going only under the assumption
they
that
think
they
they
will
will
make
be
trillions of dollars.
Yeah.
I mean, so if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But if it does happen, that a lot of that money is being made from using our material.
I love your man from Uncle Lunchbox behind you, by the way. I just saw Napoleon Solo peeking out.
Really
I like the Bozkag's album there. That's my favorite.
And the Bozkag's album. I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted.
Stepping back a minute, the three most recent pieces that you published, there's this thread of power consolidation among them. Do you think that AI is kind of accelerating this concentration of cultural and political power in tech, or it's merely kind of just exposing what was already there?
I think it's the former. I think it's accelerating it. These right now it's interesting because a lot of companies, startups, are trying to figure out how to find niches where they could plug into APIs of these models and have them be useful. But I think you're going to find that a lot of what they do will be fulfilled by the models themselves. So I think it is an essentializing movement that, and especially since the amount of money which is going to be involved in building out these infrastructures, and they're going to need to pay that off, is going to push them in that direction.
I'm also curious, I mean, you've been writing about tech for decades.
True.
Does the AI era feel like a genuinely new inflection point, or is it more of a chapter and evolution of kind of the same disruptive technologies clashing with social norms that you've been chronicling for ages?
Well, I do feel that it is one continuous story, that, I am writing one story, right? And I started when the PC era was booming. Leo could relate to this, right?
I remember it well, yes.
Yeah, and then on top of that, came connectivity, came the internet, and then there was mobile, and then there was social, and then and each thing built on top of the previous one. I think this does that, but I think some inflection points are bigger than others. The internet was like a massive inflection point, bigger than social, I think bigger than mobile, but then of course that involved the connectivity. I think it could be the biggest of all.
Wow.
Where do you come down on the doomsters on AGI? Do you believe AGI is actually going to is a legitimate goal and is
I
going to be
see
reached?
you have Ray Kurzweil's book behind you. The Singularity is Nearer. We had Ray on a few months ago.
Yeah. No, I did an interview with him too, and
Fascinating,
I was really curious about what he thought it would be like to be like 400 years old. I said,
And full of computronium, yeah.
Because you kind of keep listening to the music. You can see Boz Skaggs. You listen to when you were younger, you're like a teenager. And, when you're 400 years old, are you still going to listen to the Rolling Stones?
Great question.
Wow. And he said, no, you look for new music. I said, well, I'm not younger than 400 years old. And, you look at my record collection, there's not much stuff from this year, But anyway, I think we have difficulty defining AGI, right? Mm-hmm. Right now, I think for a little while it's going to be a moving goalpost, just like AI was. I covered the Deep Blue match against Garry Kasparov, and people thought, well, that answered things. And, the Newsweek cover line for my story was "The Brain's Last Stand," right? But it turned out that
you had a lot of brain-related covers, I suppose.
And then there's Einstein's brain.
I was going to say, famously found Einstein's brain.
Yeah. But I've just a couple weeks ago, I was talking to some of the people in the AI companies, and they were saying, well, gee, now that we were saying we're almost in grasp of AGI, then we have to sort of think what AGI is, right? Because the definition is meaningful. Particularly, it was meaningful between OpenAI and Microsoft, which had a clause about what happens when you reach AGI in their partnership, which in theory they've resolved, but they haven't shared how. But I do feel that the thing is going to get better. I'm not like a Gary Marcus skeptic who's saying that, this is, a plateau and it's kind of a hoax. I do feel that things are going to get significantly better. I don't know what superintelligence really is supposed to mean, but I do believe that these things have a way to go to get better. And even if it doesn't happen all that fast, they're so good now that it's going to take a few years for us even to begin to exploit what we have in our hands now.
I agree 100%. Yeah. But do you have concerns about it? I mean, you've been writing about these kinds of things going back to Artificial Life, the book you wrote some years ago. Do you have some concerns at all? It's not. You don't have to be a doomer, but
absolutely, absolutely. I mean, there's concerns of how well they do things right now. There's a number of things they do as well or better than people. There's a other category of things that they nailed pretty good. The pretty good level, which is enough to knock out people's jobs. We've seen a couple studies recently, which shows that in terms of employment, the people they're harming most are entry-level jobs. That if companies are trying to save money by not hiring new people, because AI can do that, which is, I think, a big mistake, because then where's their next level of executive going to come from if people can't start and learn and get better at it? But I think that there's a lot of problems we have from that. It's going to automate, probably already is, malicious hacking, and enable people to do a lot of bad stuff. And the temptation is just way too great for college students not to use that to prevent them from getting what they're paying for at these colleges, which is learning.
Yeah. I have a lot of concern about government's use of AI as well. It really has become a tool for government oppression. But also, I worry when you hear that, the Social Security Administration is going to use AI to determine who gets benefits. It seems like a bad idea on the face of it. There are lots of misuses, I guess, of AI, as many poor ways to use it as there are good ways, maybe more poor ways to use it than good ways. But you know what? You've covered technology since the dawn of the PC era. Every technology has pros and cons that come along with it. We lived in
Absolutely.
right. We lived in an era where we thought the paperless office was just around the corner.
Yeah. Steven, I'm really curious to get to your latest piece in Wired and your view of the culture of Silicon Valley, because you've covered the culture there more than really any other journalist. Did you sense
I thought I knew.
change?
By the way, we should say, just to re-intro him, Steven Levy, editor-at-large at Wired Magazine, Washington Post, called him the, I forgot what it was, the premier technology journalist of our time. I think that's
True.
that's fair.
Very
His
fair.
I won't argue.
his piece from 2 days ago in Wired, I thought I knew Silicon Valley. I was wrong. Tech got what it wanted by electing Trump a year later. It looks more like a suicide pact.
Was it a change, or was it the essence finally coming out?
Somewhat more the latter. It certainly did not begin with Trump. So it had been, over the last decade, certainly, there's a shift from, where the ideals that I engaged with that drew me to this field were no longer so much in play, particularly among the bigger companies that I've been covering for so many years and the people running them.
There was a book some years ago by John Markoff, What the Dormouse Said, talking about how the 60s counterculture had influenced Silicon Valley. And you think of people like Steve Jobs as basically being a hippie, but there, at some point, was a shift in Silicon Valley towards aggressive capitalism, shall we say? And one of the things I think I've learned from the Trump era is that these guys never really had much of a commitment to the intersection of the arts and technology, or DEI or any of this stuff, that these were merely pretexts to make more money. Do you agree?
I don't know from the very beginning that happened. I think there's a shift that happens. I've known Mark Zuckerberg since 2006. I spent a lot of time with him when I did my book, and I think he was genuinely grappling with some of the effects of his product on people during that time. But at a certain point, you become so removed from everyone else. The money is so unbelievably huge.
Yeah.
You feel, and Mark Andreessen laid this out quite explicitly, you feel, wait a minute, I built this stuff, and here I am being hauled before Congress. People are questioning me. I'm giving money to charity. I've got foundations. Why don't people love me? And he said,
Why don't people love me?
screw 'em if
Really
they
at the
don't.
core of it.
he called it the deal. He said, you make a lot of money, you build a company, you give money to to good causes, and that is the deal. And the public and Congress and other people, they welched on the deal, in his view.
Huh.
And so it was. So he's like, to hell with you.
I remember Larry Page at a Google I/O saying, "I just wish there were a Google Island where we didn't have to worry about regulations. We could just do it." There is that sense. It went from being counterculture, kind of hippies trying to save the world, to we know better, and they should just let technology solve our problems.
Yeah, well, there was always a sense of, we know better. But it was like, we know better to help everyone. A lot of times, like Larry, some things he did know better. I remember very early in the history of Google, he said, they told him how much it would cost to install a phone system. This is in the early 2000s. And he said, no, we're not going to install a system. Everyone will have cell phones. And people thought he was insane.
He was right.
Of course.
We haven't had a business phone system in a long time. Although tax law requires us to pay for people's cell phones if they use it for work. So,
Do you have a landline, Stephen?
No, I keep my number with an internet phone.
Okay.
yeah.
Let's keep the old number.
That's an old-fashioned way of doing it, right? Yeah. VoIP.
But I
you have a fax
get a
machine?
landline now. They pull the copper
No.
wire.
Yeah.
Really?
Have it. Yeah.
As they
cut the
should.
copper. They don't want to. They don't want to maintain a copper infrastructure.
That's value.
What are you excited about for the next 10 years?
You know, we're talking about the downside of AI, but I'm excited about the upside of AI. I'm excited to learn how I'm excited about how it learns. I'm excited about what it could teach us about intelligence. I'm excited to see what novel things these models can come up with to enrich humans.
Yeah.
Not necessarily monetarily.
Yeah. There's an opportunity, and I think your pitch for equity for the content creators is fair. If there is going to be a lot of money to make in this, then, and we want AI to train on good quality material. I mean, I think
But it doesn't mean
Sam
that it gets it all for free. Is
right.
my-
Sam
I've been
Altman
always-
said you don't want to only train on stuff that we don't have to pay for because, well, he didn't say pay for, but you don't want us to only pay for stuff that people give us because it won't be as good. You want to train on the best books in the world. You want to train on the best journalism in the world. But I think from a equity point of view, I think you make a good case that there should be some compensation. By the way, I love this picture from your website, StevenLevy.com, of you, I guess is a Vanity Fair shoot, sitting next to Elizabeth Holmes of Theranos and a very young-looking Mark Zuckerberg, Johnny Ives in the picture. A lot of people.
Elon Musk.
The
yeah.
Media Power Brokers cover or something like that.
Yeah,
Is
they
that
were
Elon's
very-
head that's cut off at the top there? I don't.
Oh, Elon was there for sure.
Elon's standing up.
Yeah. So I was wondering who that was. So that's Elon being cut off there.
Yeah, and and there's Lena Dunham. My knee.
Oh, that's Lena
Jessica
Dunham,
Lessons
yeah.
over there in the top right.
Oh yeah, there's
So it's
Jessica,
a
your old
who's
boss.
who.
Yeah.
They somehow let the moderators into that photo shoot. It was one of those classic Annie Leibovitz shoots where.
Oh, this looks very Annie Leibovitz.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we went off the stage, and I was interviewing Zuckerberg and Michael Abrash, who's the head of his AI lab, or VR lab at the time, not AI. And so the three of us were put into a room. There were people sitting in the room, posed the way we were going to be sitting, right? And she had us assume those poses.
Here's your stand-in, Stephen. You sit there like that person.
Yeah, and then the next panel came in, after they were done, and then she had people standing there. So we all looked like we're together. We weren't.
Oh, they cut it in. Oh yeah. Isn't that? Yeah, Maria Shriver. It's an interesting group.
You could do that with Google now, but
Yeah. One last question, since you do have the book about Facebook. What do you think of Facebook's pivot from VR, the metaverse? They even changed their name to now AI, and these latest glasses, the Ray-Ban displays.
Well, you could blame mobile for that. When mobile came about, and this is something I found in the book, Facebook had a near-death experience. They were ahead of everyone else because they were the first really big company that was totally on like a web infrastructure, right? All the other companies were like updating every 6 months, and they update every 3 hours maybe, because it was a totally web-based, infrastructure. Then mobile came along, and it was a challenge for them because people had phones that had to be updated, and they didn't know how to deal with that. They didn't know how to do ads on it, and they went on a crash course to learn and figure out how to do it, and they survived. But he told himself, I'm never going to be in that position again. The next paradigm that comes along, I'm going to be on top of. He identified it as VR, which it isn't quite happened. Doesn't quite
Didn't happen. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He said in 10 years after I buy Oculus, that's going to happen. And it's more than 10 years and it didn't happen. But he managed to salvage something out of it with the wearables, with the glasses. And then he's like, oh my God, it's AI. Everyone's ahead of me on AI. So he's throwing huge amounts of money to be relevant in AI. And now they're going to try to build it into those glasses. But, when he senses, his spidey sense goes up, that saying there's a paradigm coming up that could unseat us, because that's when companies with a monopoly on something, get overthrown when a new paradigm comes on and everyone, leaves an app and goes on to something powered by the next thing. He wants to react to that threat and be ahead of the game. So that's what's driving.
Hard to do.
It is hard to do.
Yeah.
Apple did it.
Yeah. Apple did it. We don't know if they're going to continue to do it. That seems to be the question mark. Yeah.
Yeah. We don't know where they are on AI. But.
Yep. Steven, such a pleasure. America's premier technology journalist. Read every one of his books. And are you working on a new one?
Not at the moment. I'm zeroing in on one. They keep me busy for work.
Yeah, Wired. You're writing a lot for Wired. He's editor-at-large at Wired, and that's a great place to read Steven's works as well. Steven, thank you so much for spending some time with us.
Thank you, Steven.
It's always great, and I love you and your fellow panelists there. So.
Yeah, well, we'll get you back anytime.
Okay,
thank you, Steven.
I'll see you soon.
All right, take care. Steven
Thanks
Levy,
so much.
everybody.
Bye.
America's premier technology journalist, and an inspiration to us all. Absolutely. We'll take a little break, and then when we come back, we've got AI news. How about that? You're watching Intelligent Machines with Paris Martineau and Jeff Jarvis. I've been feeling fit as a fiddle lately, and I think it's because of our brand new sponsor this week, Field of Greens. And it's not new to me. I've been consuming this superfood for some time, and it's helped me sleep better. It's helped me feel better. And apparently, I did not know this until I talked to the folks, the doctor behind Brickhouse Nutrition, the creators of Field of Greens. Apparently, it's made me younger. Think of it as a hard reset on a computer puts you back at the factory settings. Everything seems to run better and faster, right? This is a smart reset of your health to get you back to, if you will, the factory settings, and they know it works. This is an amazing. In fact, you know what? I'm gonna mix some up right now. I have the strawberry lemonade flavor, although they have a variety of wonderful flavors, and I'm gonna drink some just to prove to you not only that I drink it regularly, but that I love the flavor. Oh, that's so good. They did a study with Auburn University, a pretty sizable biological age study, and they did it right. They took a large cohort of people, did a lot of blood work on them, did a complete workup on them to see where their chronological age and their physical age paired up. And some people were not in the greatest shape. They were kind of physically older than they should be for their chronological age. They gave these people, some of them, placebos, and some of them the Field of Greens over a period of time. Inside Field of Greens, fruits, vegetables, medically selected for specific health benefits. In fact, you can go to the website, fieldofgreens.com, and take a look at the label. It's got everything. I mean, all the good stuff is in here, and it's targeted at different parts. So there's a part of it targeted toward your blood work. Some of it's targeted toward your biometrics. There's a mineral blend in here. So they gave this Field of Greens to half the population in this medical study at Auburn. You can read the whole study on the website. They gave the rest placebos. Measurable health benefits to the group that did the study and drank the Fields of Green, considerably more than the placebo group. They were told not to change anything, by the way. They didn't tell the group, change how you eat. Nope, eat normally. If you drink, fine. If you don't exercise, fine. They wanted to eliminate all the variables so that they could see if Field of Greens changed anything. And the results, frankly, quite remarkable. The group that added Field of Greens without changing any of their lifestyle, literally slowed how fast their bodies were aging. They changed their physical age I can even see this on my Oura Ring and my Apple Watch and my Y Thing scale. My biological age is not aging as fast as my chronological age. The Field of Greens, all organic. They have a variety, as I said, of ingredients in here for heart health. There's a group of things for cells, lungs, kidneys, liver health. There's a metabolism group for a healthy weight. It helped me sleep better. It's really an amazing treat, frankly. So I want you to go to the website, check out the university study, and you'll get 20% off if you use our promo code IM. Go to fieldofgreens.com. Fieldofgreens.com. Promo code is IM. It's very refreshing, very delicious. It mixes up very easily. 30 calories, by the way. So it's low calorie. It's the equivalent of 2 servings of fruits and vegetables. And the whole family can drink it. There's antioxidants in here. It boosts your immunity. Fieldofgreens.com from Brickhouse Nutrition. We thank them so much for the support. And if you want, guys, I will be glad to send you some Field of Greens you can try for yourself. Jeff, you need Field of Greens. I think your chronological age.
I need to slow down. Put the brakes on.
Who does it at our age, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, it's good. Let's take a look at the AI news. Paris Martineau, Jeff Jarvis. There's so much AI news. I'm kind of curious
so much AI news.
When we started this, I thought, are we going to have enough to talk about every week? Holy cow. One of the things I thought was kind of interesting, there have been a spate of investments.
Yeah, can we talk about the circular NVIDIA OpenAI?
Well, okay. Yeah. I wasn't going to say circular, but you said the word.
Circular is the correct way to describe it.
I think it is. So
there's some money to give to us.
NVIDIA gave OpenAI $100 billion. It's actually spread out over 10 years, but that's a lot of money to buy $100 billion worth of NVIDIA chips. So, and by the way, we've been seeing this a lot this year with companies, this kind of circular stuff. And I think there are some who say, Financial Times says, this is essentially a shell game. That there is no net gain or loss for either company, but it looks good on your balance sheet.
You can put it in your balance sheet.
The Wall Street Journal broke it down like this. OpenAI will use the cash from NVIDIA's investments to help pay for new chips produced by NVIDIA. A circular arrangement that allows the chip company to turn its balance sheet cash into new revenue. Such circular arrangements are common in the AI world, Wall Street Journal writes, and have raised questions about the extent to which new sales in this industry reflect genuine market demand versus capital recycled within the industry itself, which I think is where it all, that is what it all boils down to. It's like, is this another major foot in the gas that is fueling kind of this hype cycle? And how do we think about this industry and this market when you have all these different kind of properties boosting it up? Like, how do we separate the real from the fake here? And it gets difficult when you have things like this.
It's not just NVIDIA and OpenAI. Oracle did exactly the same thing.
And they got the biggest stock boom they've seen in like 3 decades.
So it paid for itself, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, it allowed the Ellisons to then turn around. According to Oliver Darcy's media podcast, the increase in Oracle stock was double the price they're going to pay to get Warner Brothers Discovery and thus CNN.
So the network is free.
Yeah. And messing with democracy is free.
Oh, man. OpenAI has teamed with Oracle and SoftBank to build 5 new Stargate data centers, 7 gigawatts of power.
I got a quick question for you there, Leo. I can't remember who asked it on the socials this week, but somebody said, when did we start measuring compute in gigawatts?
When it started using so much power, I guess, because it isn't a normal way to measure it for sure.
Well, how was it flops? I mean, how would you measure computing power?
Yeah. In fact, we for AI we often use TOPS, which is trillions of operations per second. But I guess these network operation centers, these AI centers, they're all big GPU farms, basically.
Yeah.
And maybe it's easier to measure it in the massive amount of power it's using.
Did I give you the number for the I calculated for the Texas OpenAI that they're building? They're going to have, if you look at how many transistors, there's 280 billion transistors on a Blackwell chip.
Yeah.
They're going to have 112 quadrillion transistors.
Jeez.
In
See, this is why you say instead 4.5 gigawatts.
Yeah.
That's the Abilene Stargate facility they're already building. These are new sites: Shackelford County, Texas; Doña Ana County, New Mexico.
Here's the next question. They need water. Why are they being put in dry places?
That's a very simple answer to that: tax breaks.
Okay.
And it's a shameful thing. I mean, the state of Arizona is giving these companies massive tax breaks, but they are basically, how can I say this, borrowing their water from the Colorado River and depriving people upstream and downstream, I should say, of the water and the power. I mean, this is crazy. Some of this is driven by the administration, which likes those big numbers. Remember when Mark Zuckerberg leaned in to a president and said, 600 billion, is that the number you wanted me to say? He likes those big, round, large numbers. And of course, the president did in fact announce the initiative, the Stargate initiative, the day he walked into the White House. Stargate will be... as an umbrella name. It's kind of unclear what Stargate is, used to refer to all of OpenAI's data center projects, except those developed with Microsoft. So the Abilene site is owned and operated by Oracle. I think 30 billion, was that the number?
Aren't there some of the things that fall into the Stargate label that have been announced but have yet to materialize in any real form? That's different than this, what we just discussed?
Yes.
Those ones are materializing?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, they say they are.
Are materializing question mark asterisk?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Parenthesis.
Sam Altman said something about gigawatts today. What was it like? What did he say? It was. He said, "Our vision is simple." This is from his piece on a. Oh, I just closed it. Darn it. There's a bug in the Comet browser that when I try to zoom in on text...
You're using Comet.
Well, I thought I'd try it. Mm-hmm. There's a bug, though. When I zoom in on text, it crashes it. So I have to use the... Yeah, well, and I zoom in on text all the time for the show because it's easier to read. So this is the blog post from yesterday from Sam Altman, titled Abundant Intelligence.
Oh, no.
He says...
That's just a combination of buzzwords I don't need.
If AI stays on the trajectory we think it will, by the way...
Okay, already off to a crazy start.
Yeah, right. We even kind of referred to this with Steven that we're kind of plateauing, I think, a little bit. And the expectations for AI seem to have been plateaued. Anyway, but not in Sam Altman's mind. He says, amazing things will be possible. Maybe, and this is the number I was looking for, with 10 gigawatts of compute... AI can figure out how to cure cancer.
Maybe
if we actually focus any of the efforts on it, but instead, that's not going to make us a lot of money right now.
Or
so instead, we're going to figure out how to get the chatbot to be your therapist,
your sex buddy. Or with 10 gigawatts.
I was trying to not say that.
I know, I went there. With 10 gigawatts of compute, AI, Sam writes, can figure out how to provide customized tutoring to every student on Earth. He says, that's another 10. So we got 10 and 10. That's 20 total. He says, if we're limited by compute, we're going to have to choose which one. Do you want to solve cancer?
Or ignorant
do you want to tutor every student on Earth? No one wants to make that choice. No one wants to make that choice. So let's go build.
Actually, I think we all want to cure cancer. I think that's the choice we would all take.
Cure cancer. Really, Sam, that is probably
As somebody who's had it twice, yeah.
I think we're all in cancer's waiting room, just waiting for the doctor to come to the door and say, "Leo, is there a Leo here?" This is the clincher. Our vision is simple, says Sam Altman. We want to create a factory that can produce a gigawatt of new AI infrastructure every week. every week.
Jesus.
The execution of this will be extremely difficult. It will
We
take
don't have lots of money.
It will take us years to get to this milestone. It will require innovation at every level of the stack, from chips to power to building to robotics. But we have been hard at work on this, and we believe it's possible. It will be the coolest and most important infrastructure project ever. It'll be cool.
Cool.
We're particularly excited to build this in the U.S., although let's point out a lot of this is going to happen in the Middle East.
Yeah. Where they also don't have a lot of water.
Yeah.
Why? Listen, I know we've talked about this before, but why do they keep building the things that need to be cold in the hot places? I know
Tax
it's because
breaks,
I know
baby.
logically it's because tax breaks and they have a
oil
lot of
money.
land where people don't want to live.
Yeah.
But it's like, come on, guys. Why don't we go?
Now we know the strategy. Oracle's
Scale.
deal with OpenAI is for 10 gigawatts of data center capacity. NVIDIA is putting $100 billion in OpenAI. The initial build out will be 4 to 5 million NVIDIA GPUs. The chip maker will make those investments, though, spread out progressively as each gigawatt is deployed. We're talking more like a gigawatt a year than a gigawatt a week.
But so Leo, I've been thinking about this. We talk about the scale for scale's sake thing a lot, and I had this discussion with Jason earlier today. I'm studying right now, researching the early history of radio, and when Marconi was doing sparks that could then be detected elsewhere. The sparks were damped signals. They went out on every frequency there was. There was no way to tune. They didn't know how to tune. They didn't know syntony yet. So the only way that they could go farther was more power, and bigger antennas.
It's funny because in my radio era, you would always talk about how many watts.
That's true.
The radio station could transmit
exactly.
at it.
Yeah.
When I worked at the 50,000 watt Clear Channel KFI in Los Angeles, that's as good as you could get, 50,000 watts.
Right.
And Clear Channel meant that there was no one else on that frequency anywhere in the United States, which means you own that frequency. And theoretically, if the propagation was correct, you could bounce all over the world. Yeah.
So they bought ever bigger dynamos, ever bigger power, until they learned how to tune, and then it became a whole different thing. And it just strikes me that these guys don't know how their thing operates. So the only thing they know to do is to throw more power, because they don't know how to tune it. They don't know how to that next level of making it work in a different way. And so we're going to throw, as we talked about with Karen Howe, we're going to throw just ungodly amounts of money behind one philosophy, which is more gigawatts. Surely, once we do that, we'll cure cancer. We don't know how, but it'll just happen.
Here's the counter argument.
Please.
We don't know if it won't work.
Go ahead, Paris.
Yeah, but there's also no okay. One,
there's evidence that it does work. Wait a minute. There is evidence that it does.
Crazy as an argument for this, but also
it's worked so far.
The things that we're doing are not. We're not investing all of this time, money, and resources into AI-powered endeavors to cure cancer. We're investing all this time, money, and resources primarily into commercial chatbots and enterprise products, and siphoning, as we talked about with Karen Howe, siphoning resources and brain power away from the fields of AI research that are most applicable to medical breakthroughs.
Well, so you say.
I keep saying this, but if OpenAI cures cancer, they will have the goodwill of the people forever, and they could do whatever they want.
And that's why the VCs are investing. There is this. And to be fair, there's sort of evidence that throwing more, that's what's gone on so far.
There's evidence that what?
Throwing more compute at AI.
But this goes to the FT says that companies keep talking about AI, but they can't really explain the upsides, and it can't really get to the results.
We'll know when we get there, for crying out loud.
Well,
you guys act like we're driving to Las Vegas.
Well, but we're investing
we
a
act
lot.
like there should be some more reasoning for giving a handful of companies all the money in the world.
Here's the reasoning. We were at ChatGPT 2.5. If you remember using that, garbage, hot trash. It just was nuts. Then all of a sudden, by making bigger models, we got to ChatGPT 3.5. And it was suddenly a quantum leap in the capabilities of the AI. And that was when OpenAI, and Karen Howe talks about this, came up with their, the law, OpenAI law of scaling, which is, throw more compute at it. Remember the famous, what was it, the bitter lesson article that we talked about, which said basically you don't have to make better models, you just have to throw more compute at it.
We also have we talked about Jan LeCun last week saying stop with the LLMs.
He says that, but the evidence is not in his favor. This is his thought. But the evidence so far
how long
has
it took. I also just studied how long it took to invent the transistor. And they focused on it, and they didn't say, we have the first clumsy transistor, we're going to make 1 billion of them. No, they made it better. They got to a point where they knew that it was scalable, and they knew that it was something worth doing. I'm going to do the thing you hate and ask you to go to a line 30.
Not yet.
Well, okay, but the point is that there's economic money here that says that they're going to be, according to Bain, $800 billion revenue shortfall in this.
All made up. We don't know.
Okay,
don't
we
know.
believe
And that's the point. I am arguing
know.
this a little more strongly than I actually believe, but I think it's important to make this
Thanks
argument.
for the warning.
All of we don't know we don't know. Jan LeCun doesn't know. No one. Sam Altman doesn't know. But the evidence has been that we keep building these bigger models and they keep getting better. Now, Martin Peers in the Information yesterday wrote a piece responding to Sam Altman, which is, can we afford AI, which addresses this exact issue. And he says, countless news reports cite businesses who say they've yet to see enough benefit in AI to pay for it. The Information reported last week, Microsoft having a hard time persuading its customers that AI features in Office were worth the price. And he also cites that Financial Times article that says big companies find it difficult to explain AI's value. I don't think, though, let's not be nervous Nellies here. With lack of resolve guarantees failure. Why don't we throw all our resources at this? All the evidence is it works.
No. Define works. Works.
Compare ChatGPT 2.5 to the latest models, and I think it works pretty well.
Works
It's dramatic.
Works at economic value. That's what's missing here. We see a lot. I was on a World Economic Forum. I don't get invited to Davos anymore, but I get on the Zoom calls. So I was on a call this week.
You can't come to Switzerland, but you can call us.
Yes. So I was on a call this week, and one of the executives there said, "Oh, we're seeing real business business benefit." I said, "Okay, I'm really eager to hear more." And I said to the forum, "You should be gathering those receipts," because I pointed out what Bain said and what the FT said and what the Deutsche Bank just said. And I think there's a real crash of reality hitting unless we start to see arguments that include receipts for what the economic benefits are. So far, I'm not saying, Leo, it's going to be perfect. I'm not saying it's going to be everything.
The people who said when John F. Kennedy said in 10 years before this decade is out, we will put a man on the moon. You're like the people who said, yeah, but why? What's the benefit?
Tang.
Tang.
We got Tang out of it.
We did
get Tang out of it, and that was
ballpoint
huge.
pens that would write in upside down.
and the Cold War.
Yeah.
Cold War.
What's the downside?
And the end of humanities and universities, and everything became STEM.
MIT there was a really interesting study out of MIT this week that you probably saw picked up because there was a Harvard Business Review piece highlighting a takeaway from it, which was related to work slop.
Which is a great word, by the way.
It's great. They basically they reviewed like hundreds of publicly disclosed AI initiatives, interviewed representatives from 52 organizations, interviewed hundreds of senior leaders across AI companies and others, and found that Gen AI is flooding a lot of companies that use it with low-value work slop, which means like AI-generated drafts, decks, tickets, notes. So output ostensibly explodes, but business value doesn't. Because despite widespread adoption, a lot of the firms are not seeing measurable ROI improvements from Gen AI because they're scaling activity, but the outcomes are not scaling at the same pace because people have to spend a lot of time double and triple checking and correcting these and I think this is part of what we need to think about when we think about what AI is providing to our society, because right now a lot of the most obvious benefits are a bit more complicated.
I think you are nattering nabobs of negativism. which
no, sir.
Spiro.
Yes, I thought you'd recognize
what
the reference.
What happened to the vice president who said that?
You know, sometimes people could take $50,000 bags of cash and get in trouble. Sometimes not. And it just depends. It just depends.
On the times.
On the times. My point is, what if, you know, it's true that scaling produces results. The evidence is it has been producing results. And we say, oh, yeah, well, never mind.
No,
and we
I'm not
miss
saying
out on
never
that
mind.
cure for cancer, which could be just around the corner.
See, that,
There's a 0% chance that at this current stage that we're going to stop we, the royal we, are going to stop investing money into AI. That is happening.
So your defense is my argument will fail. So it's
No,
okay for me to
are
argue
there
this?
other investments that may be wiser as well at the same time?
I just think that my argument for this has always been, no matter what technology you're talking about, you could actually have computronium out there developed. My argument would be, it seems unwise to bet everything on one very narrow
Are we betting
slice of
everything,
the
though? Are we really betting everything?
We're betting the vast majority of venture capital and like just general resources available in our society. Yeah.
Alibaba the new QN models are remarkable models, especially for AI coding. And these are, to my knowledge, models that are made much less expensively.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I think there are, I don't think, look, there's opportunity in a variety of areas. And I think there are certainly people who say, you know, could we do this without a gigawatt a week of power? And I think those people are still working.
Leo, there's a chart at line 114 I would love for you to share.
Is this the one you wanted before?
This is Bain,
Okay.
yeah. And it's
You
specific.
trust Bain?
No, well, they're a little better McKinsey.
That's not saying anything.
No, I know, but this is one interesting thing I think that really will strike. They looked at the training compute in flops.
Floating
If you go to the first
operations
chart.
per second. Okay.
There, compute demand growth is more than double Moore's law, which I found fascinating.
That was kind of the OpenAI insight, is that was their new law replaced Moore's law. Yeah.
Well, but it's demand. It's not supply. It's demand. So compute demand growth is 4.5 times every year, whereas Moore's law is 2 times every 2 years. So, you know, it used to be we got better radios and better computers and better cars and better everything because of Moore's law, right? The higher compute at the same or lower cost gave us more functionality. That's what's killed here is not because Moore's law is dead. It's because they're outpacing it so much. Their hunger for the compute, for the gigawatts, is so huge. And that's why Bain said we're going to be in an $800 billion shortfall in 2030. And so if you're going to be, and if it's worth the investment to society, okay. But by then, you better have some more receipts and justification for that investment, I would say.
Well, I would say the people who are spending the money get to decide whether they feel like it's worth it, right?
Well,
It's not my money.
In an oligarchy, it does, but maybe if we had a fair taxation system, but that's a different topic.
There's also one other thing, Leo,
maybe if we were...
that new technologies almost always first are used as weapons. So, I mean, there's that.
Really?
All right. So...
Wait, Nino, really?
I think military
weapons that can be things that can be weaponized
research is
for sure.
Often the internet came out of military research.
No,
I think
that's true.
military research
radio,
is often
the Navy had a big role in radio. Yeah. Okay.
Atomic bomb.
But that's because I'll tell you why that is. That's because governments tend to invest in defense.
Yes, hence it's the most profitable branch of the
And government has more money, or until recently has had more money to invest in R&D, in pure R&D, than anybody else. So the R&D the budget has gone towards the weapons of mass
Well,
destruction.
they still have money to spend on weapons of defense. They're just not spending it. They're unwisely
I'm
stopping
sorry, they're
this.
Wouldn't you
weapons of
prefer that they
war
spent the
now.
money on AI instead of bigger bombs?
It's more drones, Leo. Forget the bigger bombs.
What's the
Now it's all
difference?
drones.
What's
It's
the
One word,
difference?
Palantir.
yeah.
Well, yeah, as you know, I have definitely qualms about how AI is being used. I just saw that Llama, Meta's AI system, has been approved for use by federal agencies. What could possibly go wrong? This is not, by the way, far from the best AI model out there. But as you know, Google and OpenAI have been giving their AIs to government for $1 a year. Both of them.
Well, better than
agreed to do
Grok.
that. I'm sure Grok's next.
Why isn't it already there? I thought he already did a deal.
Oh yeah, Doge with Grok. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, the GSA has also signed. By the way, the GSA, which is the government agency that has been so depleted by Doge that they're now trying to rehire some of those employees. They signed off in recent months on AI tools from Amazon Web Services, Microsoft, Google, Anthropic, and OpenAI. All of those companies agreeing to sell their products at steep discounts and to meet the government's security requirements. So Llama is just the latest in the batch. I think that you're right. There's some places I don't want to see AI used, but I really think it's worth spending the money if we've got it. If we don't have it, we don't have it. That was the Bain study was saying it's going to cost $500 billion a year and we don't have it. And if that's the case, then it won't happen.
The other thing that's interesting, one of these stories said that basically all of this spending is what's preventing us from right now being in a recession.
Well,
So we're
there you
at
go.
a teetering edge that if these stories like the Bain and the Deutsche Bank and the FT stories
Yes,
start to...
stop peeing in my Cheerios, guys. I got a 401k to maintain here.
Same here, Gramps, same here.
I often wonder whether I should just get out of the stock market and just hold gold. But then I think, well,
Gotta invest.
I don't know
all in
what I
Bitcoin.
think. I think, what the hell?
It's so I have my wife gets nervous about cash, and I cashed out some stuff. So I cashed out. I've got one mutual fund that's obviously filled with tech stuff because it's the hot stuff, and I took some off the table, and my broker put it in a bond where I'm making some decent returns. That's
less
good.
than inflation, but okay.
But then I looked at what I would have made in that mutual fund.
Oh,
and it
don't do
was
that.
way more.
Yeah. No, I've stayed. I only own index funds, but I've stayed in the index funds because, you know what? If I have to work until I'm 104, so be it. I like my job.
But you know, what episode number will we be on then, do you think?
Ask AI. China's
Ask AI.
DeepSeek says that its best AI model costs $294,000 to train.
This is where I have some hope.
Yeah. Or they're lying.
Yeah, that's quite possible.
That's the R1 model.
Everyone could always be lying. I think this is something really important to consider.
Yes.
This is in a peer-reviewed article in Nature published on Wednesday.
There you go.
DeepSeek's release of what it said were lower-cost AI systems in January caused as you may remember, a plummet in the valuation of NVIDIA and other tech stocks, which they've since recovered, of course. The Nature article, which listed the company founder, Liang Wenfeng, as one of the co-authors, said DeepSeek's reasoning-focused R1 model used 512 NVIDIA H800 chips. This is new information. We didn't have this before. And it cost, as I said, less than $300,000 to train. Meanwhile, Sam Altman said that his foundation models cost much more than $100 million each. Now, incidentally, China has decided not to buy any more chips from NVIDIA.
Yeah.
So that's over. The real question is whether Hyundai and other companies that are selling to China can develop chips to compete. So far, no. I think it would be a mistake for us to push the pause button at this point.
I'm not pushing the pause at all. I'm pushing just a different mix, which I think, Paris, you would say too.
Well, but who are you pushing that to? The people who are spending the money?
Research. Well, I would like to. We're shutting off research. That's what disturbs me most, because God knows what we don't know yet.
Yeah. Taking a break. More to come. You're watching Intelligent Machines or listening. Either way, there's not much to see here, except my lovely rainbow-colored
It is very nice.
Serape shirt. This is a very colorful studio. Is it gaudy? Do you think? Is it gauche? Should I be
Define
more
gaudy.
subdued?
It's not.
No.
I feel like I'm competing with all those YouTubers. I gotta give you something.
You need to have a setup kind of like the people do on those TikTok lives where it's like a woman sleeping, and if you donate some coins to the chat, it like drops an object on them while they're sleeping live. You
I
kind of
was thinking
incorporate
about
that where
I
people could
was.
pay you $5 or $10 to like slime you or something.
I
while
don't. I
we're
shouldn't
recording.
probably tell you this, but your predecessor on this show, Stacey Higginbotham, had a design for a punching bag, a glove that would hit me in the head if people paid enough money.
Oh,
she
I think
likes
that's
that.
really a good
Oh,
idea.
she likes that.
That would,
Or if
that would
Stacey pushed
address
the button.
primary issue of sliming you, which is that it would mess up your makeup. So, it could just give it a little sock to the face.
I powder my nose a little bit more here. That's all right.
I mean, you could absolutely monetize the boxes above on your left and right. That's like
Yeah,
There's a new Tai
you
Chi
could pay
move I
$20.
just learned. It's boxing the ears. You go like this to the guy's ears. Tai Chi
You could
is
pay
very
$20
violent.
to put I'm with idiot and then like have like a little like one of those T-shirts with a little arrow.
I keep having to turn off the Apple camera reactions on this machine because it's.
I've never had mine turned on. I don't know how to do it.
Mine keeps turning on for some reason, which is extremely.
Zoom. For me, Zoom just does it. I guess it's not doing it right now.
Yeah,
it
it's
depends.
Apple.
It depends how we're producing the show. If we're doing it through Restream, it's not actually your computer that's doing it. It's the computer in the cloud that's doing it when you do it. You see?
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I was having that problem yesterday, and I was very
Yeah. So
concerned.
we need to turn it
Anyway,
off in the cloud. That's what we need to do.
Turn it off in the cloud. Okay. By the way, Poco with a K has asked AI and our Intelligent Machine show when I am 103, which will be September 24th, 2063, will be episode 2737.
And
I'm
how
ready.
old will Paris be then?
If I keep drinking the Field of Greens, I might actually make
You
it.
might make it.
I might actually make it. It is my goal to keep doing this as long as I can. Now Lisa wants me to do a daily news show.
That again.
Well, what that
Are
means...
you going to do TITV?
It'll be, no, not TIT TV. No, we'll leave that to the information. We have the name Tech News Today, which is TNT, and I kind of like that. So we'll probably keep that.
You were going to do that in New York City. That was the plan.
That was the idea. And the reason for that still holds, which is I'm on the West Coast. So when I get up at 8 a.m. or 7 a.m., it's already midday for you guys. So I'm going to have to get up at 3 a.m. like a baker to write news.
Better make the donuts.
I got to make the donuts so that I can record at 4 a.m. and get it out at 7 a.m. for you East Coasters. So I might as well move to New York to do this.
Well, good. Come to the center of the universe.
You got an extra room there, Jeff?
Yeah, we do,
Can I
actually.
sleep in the library there? I like the books.
You can come over here. It's only going to be 6 p.m.
That's the solution.
Yeah.
I do it in the night in the Philippines, and it comes out in the morning.
Leo's going
in
to
the
bunk
US.
with you, but just what you wanted.
I'm a little nervous. The idea of writing, and it'll be short, a 5 or 10 minute daily show is kind of daunting.
We'll just have AI write it for you.
No, this is going to be the
You
whole
love
pitch.
AI. What's wrong with that?
No, because the other reason I love AI is it makes us more valuable.
I agree.
Right?
Yes.
Right? So this is going to be
humanity is the differentiator.
handcrafted. Darren
For the
says I should move with him to Sydney. And in Sydney, it's already yesterday or tomorrow. I don't know what it is. It's not now.
It's not today, whatever it is.
Ladies and
Guys,
gentlemen,
For the 2,737th show, I will be 66. I would still be younger than you
Still
guys are
younger
now.
than us. So
That's
ouch.
depressing.
Sorry.
No, you're enjoying that a little too much, Paris.
No, I'm not.
She's laughing. But you will then have more sympathy for us today. By then, we'll be so old.
It'll take a while, but you'll get there.
Yeah, you'll get there.
Eventually. Only
so
through hard
funny.
life lessons.
Lisa's a little younger than me, and she keeps saying things like, "Oh, now I know why you were so tired.
Oh, gosh.
Now I know why I couldn't get you to go out dancing. Yeah, now that you're my age, anyway, some years ago." Our show today brought to you by Zscaler. You know, Zscaler, it's actually very appropriate for the conversation we were just having. Zscaler understands that AI is a blessing and a curse to business. It's good news and bad news. With AI in the hands of bad guys, of course, it means more vicious and aggressive attacks, more effective attacks, more efficient attacks. But in the hands of the good guys, in the hands of your business, it means better business and innovation and efficiency. Let me talk about the bad guys first. Phishing attacks over encrypted channels have increased by 34.1%. And that's primarily fueled by the use of generative AI tools. These phishing emails, we used to be able to say, oh, look, if it's an ungrammatical or, this is obviously a phish. Nowadays, they're perfect because they're using AI to generate them. So this is a real problem. On the other hand, organizations in all industries, from small to large, are leveraging AI to increase employee productivity with public AI for engineers with coding assistance. It's kind of amazing what they can do. Marketers are using it for writing. Finance is using AI to create spreadsheet formulas and much more effective spreadsheets. Companies are automating workflows for operational efficiency across individuals and teams. They're embedding AI into applications and services that are both customer-facing and partner-facing. Ultimately, AI is helping many businesses move faster in the market and gain competitive advantage. But there is an issue, of course, with the public and private AI that you're using in your company. You've got to really seriously think about how you protect the private and public use of AI. You don't want to accidentally exfiltrate proprietary customer information. You want to make sure you use AI responsibly, intelligently, privately. And of course, companies have to think about how they defend against these AI-powered attacks. Ask Stephen Harrison. He's the CISO right on the front line at MGM Resorts International. And they use Zscaler. So that's pretty good news. This is the quote. "We hit zero trust segmentation across our workforce in record time, and the day-to-day maintenance of the solution with data loss protection, with insights into our applications, these were really quick and easy wins from our perspective." MGM International loves Zscaler. You know who wishes they were using Zscaler? I'm going to ad-lib a little bit from the copy because it's not in here, but it's ripped from the headlines. Jaguar announced that they still can't get the production line back on 3 weeks later. They'd hoped to reopen today. They can't. And you know why? We were talking about it on Sunday. You know why? Because they didn't have zero trust. They didn't have segmentation. They had a flat network. And once the bad guys got in, they could go anywhere. And that is a nightmare for any business. The problem is we've been depending on perimeter defenses, traditional firewalls, things like that. And the hope is, well, if they're good enough, nobody will get in. We don't have to worry. But they do get in. For one thing, you've got to create VPNs, right, so that your employees can get in. That means now suddenly you have public-facing IPs. That's just you hanging out on the internet, exposing your attack surface. And hackers with AI, they are good. You don't stand a chance. That's why you need a modern approach. That's Zscaler's comprehensive zero trust. This is so important. Zero trust architecture in AI. Zero trust means you're segmented out. Even if your perimeter defenses are penetrated, bad guys can't do anything. They can't move laterally in your network. They can't use your apps against you. Plus, zero trust protects you against 0 days, unknown attacks, supply chain attacks. So you get that. And with Zscaler's AI, you ensure safe public AI productivity It protects the integrity of private AI. So you're stopping AI-powered attacks. You're protecting your privacy, protecting your security. This is the way to thrive in the AI era with Zscaler Zero Trust Plus AI to stay ahead of the competition and remain resilient even as threats and risks evolve. Learn more at zscaler.com/security. That's zscaler.com/security. We thank Zscaler so much for supporting intelligent machines. Interesting New York Times piece. We last week, and I'm sorry you guys couldn't be here, but it was a fascinating thing to watch this Meta event. Oh, you're muted there, Jeff.
I was apologizing for deserting.
Oh, no. You were on CNN for an hour. I
have no excuse. I went to bed.
You
ate.
That's all right.
I ate dinner and went to bed. I'm sorry.
Did you, once you saw, though, the massive demo fails throughout the entire Meta thing, did you kind of feel bad?
Yeah.
I felt somewhat bad that I wasn't there, but I also don't think I would have been particularly useful.
Well, it was good. Anthony joined me. We had a lot of fun.
Anthony did a good job.
It started off really cool with Mark Zuckerberg sitting in the green room reading his script. And then he gets up, he puts on these glasses, which we don't know yet. They haven't announced anything. And suddenly you're seeing what he's seeing. You're seeing a screen in the lower right. You're seeing as he goes through the door, and suddenly he's on the stage, and it's live. He's doing this live. That was the last time they worked.
My God.
Literally, the last time they worked. So the first demo they go to is with the updated Ray-Bans. They did 3 announcements. They had updated Oakley's updated Ray-Bans and these new Ray-Ban display, Meta Ray-Ban display glasses. So the first thing he did, he had a TikTok chef on, not my son, but another TikTok chef on. And he was going to make some sort of soy sauce marinade. And he's got the glasses on. And he says, "Hey, Meta," which is what you do to wake up the glasses. And she says, "Hi." And he says, "I'm going to make this. Look at the ingredients I have." And she says, "Oh, looks like you got soy sauce." Yeah, that was one of like 8 ingredients. Yeah, I got soy sauce. Help me make this marinade. Here's, what recipe? And she said, "Now that you've mixed all the ingredients together," and he says, no, wait, no.
Back up.
He tries
Control
3
Z,
times.
Control Z glasses, Control Z.
3 times. Finally, Mark says, "Oh, well, never mind." And he blames the Wi-Fi, which is not true. It's what it's what Apple used to do. Oh, it's the Wi-Fi. It turns out later Meta said, well, the problem was that these glasses were attached to small development server. And as soon as he said, "Hey, Meta," it was broadcast throughout the auditorium, and all the geeks in the auditorium who had Meta glasses, their glasses woke up, and they all hit the same dev server at the same time. Now, I don't know if that's true, but they said we DDoSed ourselves. Okay,
that's pretty funny. That's funny.
That is pretty great. I mean, of all the ways for something to fail, that is spectacular.
It was fairly spectacular. Then, and this is the picture that the New York Times published from the audience's perspective of, this is the teleprompter that Mark's looking at. It says, "Live demo, .. Good luck."
Oh,
no. So somebody's calling him, and it turns out the glasses, for some reason, are going to sleep each time the call comes in. So he can't pick up, so they call again. He can't pick up, so they call again.
Oh, no.
4 or 5 times they try to pick up. Never does. So the guy walks out on the stage, and they try one more time. It still doesn't work. So there's another fail. I can't remember all the fails. Literally, they never worked as they were supposed to. Well, there was one kind of cool thing where Mark put on they call it a neural interface, but it's really just got sensors on it, this bracelet that lets you move your fingers, and it senses the muscle movement.
Well, it's kind of like that thing that Paris found around your face, right? It senses enough to be able to decide.
Yeah, and if you train it right, I guess it's okay. This is the New York Times reporter, Eli Tan, trying out the display. Mark was pretty impressive. He was looked like able to type, although it had autocomplete, so he would kind of write. It looked like almost writing a few words, and then it would guess, and he'd say, "Yeah, that's good." So he was able to text. the reporter said it occasionally failed to register finger swipes, which is pretty much what the demo looked like. It was really rocky going the whole time, and then Diplo shows up, and the DJ, and that's, I guess, to give it some star power, and that I don't think that demo worked. They were trying to play music. I guess he got the music playing, so maybe I give him a check mark for that. He said play some music, and it played some music. How impressive. They had a completely meaningless interview with James Cameron to plug the new Avatar movie that didn't have anything to do with anything. And then finally, Mark, and I could tell they had planned this. This was going to be really great. They were going to end it, and Mark's going to go for a run. And some jock comes out all ready to run, and Mark puts on his glasses. The jock puts on his glasses, and we follow them out the door of the auditorium down. And there's a bunch of other meta types wearing their glasses, standing there expectantly. We're going to run with Mark. And you could tell that the whole point of this was you were going to get to see the run from Mark's point of view. They never got it working. So what we're seeing basically is for some reason, we're watching
Geeks
Mark
jogging.
run. They had a golf cart with a camera, so he's just
Mark
jogging
run.
after you could tell Mark was like, just like he was as good natured as could be, but you could tell this was like
Jensen Huang would have blown
There
up the
has
world.
to have been a huge blow up behind the scenes.
Oh.
I mean, God.
Somebody
can you
got
imagine?
fired. The next day, I saw a report. I haven't been able to find it again, but I saw a report that the person responsible for the ability to make phone calls got fired. So, I'm still interested in the idea. The screen that they display is very bright. It's actually brighter than the iPhone screen. I think they said 6,000 nits. The iPhone screen is 3,000 nits. They say it's cool because no one can see it. So they know that there's a privacy issue. No one can tell you're looking at a screen because there's only 2% leakage. So even somebody standing across from you doesn't see the screen. But they do see the big cameras on your temples that are lit up bright red as you record. Now, the one advantage of the screen, I think, is when you're taking pictures with your new Meta Ray-Ban displays, you can actually, for the first time, see what the camera's showing. So it helps you get a better picture or movie. So that's useful. There's a limitation because Meta doesn't have a phone, as Steven Levy was talking about earlier. They're kind of, if this were Apple, they'd have an iPhone to tie it with. They've had an ecosystem. Meta's got WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger. So it's unclear.
Yeah, that's what killed it for me. I might be interested in this, but then that's all I can get to is WhatsApp and Messenger.
Yeah, and Instagram.
Yeah.
They had an Instagram icon. So great. You can look at Instagram Reels while you're talking to people.
What a nightmare. It's like those Subway Surfer memes, but in real life.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he was hoping for an app development platform like the iPhone 1. That didn't have any apps yet either.
Yeah. Well, that's the argument. A lot of people said, well, this is the first one and it's early and there was some cool technology. I was impressed. It's $800, which is a lot less than the Vision Pro. You can get demos right now at Exotica stores in many, what do they call it? Eyeglasses, etc., or whatever. Exotica owns all of the eyewear stores. So some of those limited, if you go to the website, you can sign up for a demo, which you probably should do before you buy. They will go on sale on the 30th.
Take it from somebody who has Google Glass still.
Yeah. I think there's the same issue wearing these around, that people are more and more aware of the fact that you have cameras. Did you see this story? Did we talk about this last week? About the woman who was getting bikini wax and looked up and saw that the waxer... Did we talk about this?
Oh, right.
Only briefly. They had
wearing Ray-Bans. By the way, the company,
right.
Her employer said no, they weren't on. Well, that's
I bet they did say that. Yeah.
New York Times concludes all of this privacy stuff may not matter to Meta because it can afford to keep trying until it gets it right. Thanks to its online advertising business, the company made $18.3 billion in profit last quarter. Even though it spent billions on Zuckerberg's other big passion that is not making much money yet, artificial intelligence, Zuckerberg said on a recent podcast of his AI investments, if we end up misspending a couple of $100 billion, I think that's going to be very unfortunate. But I think the risk, at least for a company like Meta, is probably in not being aggressive enough.
See earlier discussion about scale.
See earlier discussion. Anyway, I don't think I'll buy these.
Yeah,
not because of the poor demo, but I do think that it's early days.
It's what you can get if you can't test out enough of the uses.
Right.
If you can't get
honestly,
directions and maps and stuff like that.
I'm still chastened from wearing that little AI thing around all the time. I realize,
As you should be.
Yeah. People really don't like the idea that you might be recording at any moment.
People being your wife?
People being my wife.
Have you forgotten the parable of the glass hole?
Yeah. These aren't as obvious as the glass hole. They do light up red when you're recording.
They should be. At least one benefit of the glass hole was that you knew that someone was recording you because they looked like a glass hole.
It's also Meta is a little bit of a problem, right? We don't. If it came from Apple, maybe we would trust it more. But I don't really trust Meta.
Well, the funny thing about some of these AI link-ins that are coming out now is they want you to tie your Google stuff to it so it can give you added value to it. But I'm nervous about all that.
You know what Google thinks added value is? Ads.
Well, no.
Eric Schmidt saying you're walking down the street and you walk by a
right. From their perspective, from my perspective, added value is I can look at your email and I can do things for you and I know what you're doing today. But I can get that out of competitive AIs only if I link them to my Google apps and the privacy, and I don't want to do that.
It's by the way,
Google already knows it.
It's just not just Google companies that do that. The B computer would only work with Gmail and Google Calendar. I get stuff all the time, and since I don't use Gmail or Google Calendar or Google Contacts, there's a lot of tools I'm interested in that I can't use because they don't work with my Cal. And by the way, the Fastmail, which I use for my calendar and contacts, uses a standard CalDAV and CardDAV, which is a standard. They could easily support it, but Google's so dominant, they see no benefit. Addressing the Meta trust issue, here's a story from The Guardian. Parents outraged as Meta uses photos of schoolgirls in ads targeting men. Instagram pictures of girls as young as 13 were posted to promote the Threads site.
I don't get how they were using that to promote. Did they have the actual ad there?
In what way?
The children's images were used by Meta after their parents had posted them on Instagram. So they were taking your Instagram posts to mark their return to school. The parents were unaware that Meta's Instagram settings permitted it to do this. One mother even said, my account is set to private, but the posts were automatically cross-posting to Threads publicly. And she's upset. The posts of their children were highlighted to a stranger as suggested threads. The recipient told The Guardian the posts felt deliberately provocative and exploitative of the children and the families involved. The father of a 13-year-old who appeared in one of the posts said it was absolutely outrageous. The images were all of the schoolgirls in short skirts with bare legs or stockings. Meta
Not what you want.
knew what it was doing. And, this is a cautionary tale. Stop posting to Instagram if you want it to be private, even if you have a private account. Meta said, that's just a recommendation tool. The images shared do not violate our policies and are back-to-school photos posted publicly by parents.
That's a good way to ruin any trust you might have had with parents.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, a 37-year-old Instagram user from London who received the posts and asked to remain anonymous said, over several days, I was repeatedly served Meta adverts for Threads that exclusively featured parents' images of their daughters in school uniforms, some revealing their names. Thank you, Meta.
In this time of Epstein, can you read the room?
I never post to Instagram anymore or I mean, I feel like these sites are not your friend. Obviously, in your generation, Paris, you don't have a choice, right? You have to use Instagram.
Always be posting. I mean, I know some people who don't use Instagram, but
they're few
it's
and
kind of
far
the way that I
between.
keep
They're
up
sad
with friends. I used to be maniacal about only having a private Instagram account, but I changed it when I was getting more public because I kind of got overwhelmed with a bunch of people I didn't know trying to add me, and I was like, well, I guess I'll just make it like a quasi-public
and post with with that in mind.
With that in
right?
mind, yeah.
Yeah. No, I love your posts. The posts you did of the soapbox derby, those are great. Those are fun.
But yeah, I always post the idea that the world is watching.
Well, parents of young girls, maybe you should do the same. It's sad because people really do want to share. Mark's not wrong that people want to connect. It's just that's the wrong place to do it, I think. I don't know. There is nothing.
There's a lot of ego getting in the way here because he can you do Facebook and still be a billionaire. You know what I mean?
That's right. That's why he says, I don't mind if I lose $100 billion on this, moonshot. I got plenty more where that's coming from.
Yeah. So it's ego at this point. He just wants to be the next.
And
Jobs.
that's why we're talking with Steven. That's why there is a concentration of this in the oligarchs, the people with lots of money. No one else can do it.
When I was on the board of Nick Denton's company before Gawker, and the crash in 2000 came, he had raised a whole bunch of money. I said, Nick, boy, best thing he could have done is raise a lot of money. He said, no, Jeff, you're completely wrong, as he tended to do. And he said, let the CEO play with everything.
Yeah.
And one of the smart board members with the wonderful name Ricky Tata, I love that name.
Sounds like a Rudyard Kipling poem.
Doesn't it? It's just great.
You're a better man than I am, Ricky Tata.
So Ricky insisted that a separate bank account be set up, that you had to basically ask to get money out of it to do something.
Good.
And I think it's some scarcity of fun. This goes back to the question: when you have all the money in the world, literally, you can spend it. When I worked at Time Inc., and I got in an argument on what system we were buying because I was doing boring things like that, and they said basically, if we're Time Inc. and we're spending the most money on it, it must be the right thing to buy.
Right.
Oh no!
And there was
That's
no
a
discipline.
hubris. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. So I think Zuckerberg has too much money.
Have you tried Huxe?
This is an example. We're going to have them on next week, right?
Oh, are we? Is that set?
I saw it in the schedule.
Oh, good. I should probably look at the schedule once in a while.
So these are three people who were part of the original development team for NotebookLM, whom I met when Stephen Johnson showed me NotebookLM. Really smart, obviously. Redundant to say that they were at Google, but they left. And I worried at the time, oh my God, I love NotebookLM. What's going to happen to it? Well, they've been developing tons of stuff at NotebookLM, doing a great job. But at the same time, they have just released their new company. Is it Huxe or Huxe?
Well,
Huxe.
I'm thinking it's short for Huxley. Why would I think that they're naming it after Aldous Huxley?
But why would
who
they
wrote
name
The
it
Doors of
Aldous
Perception?
Huxley?
Anyway, I don't know.
I don't know.
What else would Huxe be? Luke's? I don't know.
I don't know. Huxe.ai. So
It's an app, right?
Right.
And it basically is like NotebookLM. It gives you a podcast, multi voices, by the way, not just two, reading the news.
You want to hear mine?
Yeah.
Come on. Oh, here we go.
By the way, this music
Is really irritating.
and it's the same on all of
rough.
these. Yeah.
Hey, Jeff. Good evening. It's a cloudy one out in Bernard's.
I turned the speed up.
Hopefully you're staying comfortable as the day winds down.
Glad to see you popping in just after 6.
Could you slow it down? I'm sorry. I can't.
What level of speed is that
Two.
on?
Two.
Oh boy.
Two. Now we know how you read all these books.
That's exactly how I do it.
Yeah. Now I understand. I can't listen at. Do you listen at high speed, Paris?
No, I
All right,
don't.
Jeff. Thanks for the feedback. We always appreciate hearing from you.
It was
And
listening
we're
to me.
glad to know our approach is working out for you. Let's get back to the news.
All right, moving along.
Later
Okay, this is
on, we'll get into
excruciatingly
some
so, I
major
understand.
moves in AI and a few fresh twists in the art world. Perfect mix, right?
Let's head straight to today's news updates and see what's next on the horizon.
Let's dive into the day's most intriguing.
This is why I want to do a daily news show written and delivered by a human being.
Yeah, I think that's needed.
Here's what else is making headlines before we wrap up this segment.
It's ironic because when I saw this, my face fell because I thought, oh, this is exactly what I was thinking of doing.
Data centers in the U.S. with Oracle and SoftBank as part of the massive $500 billion AI infrastructure push. They're aiming for nearly 7 gigawatts of capacity and over $400 billion invested.
She's no
so far.
Paris.
This all broke today.
Right.
This all
and
broke
these new
today.
sites are expected to create 25,000 jobs and lock in American leadership in AI.
That's a press release. So this is the difference. Is we said, well, wait a minute, hold on.
Let's go into the details here. Yeah.
And I think that's what I would try to do with the Daily Show as well. Is I would only do a few stories, maybe 2 or 3, but try to give you some perspective. Not more than a few sentences. Me saying,
why does it have to be the morning? Why can't it be the evening?
Well, I just think that's the way people listen. They listen in the morning as they're getting ready. They're preparing themselves for the day. The evening, I guess, I don't know. You like evening news? I guess we watch TV.
Well, just for your sake.
Just for my sake.
The problem is that evening news, like most people would probably listen to that the next day, and it might be old news already by that time.
I don't want it to be old. Kagi has created a couple of new apps, and I was pretty excited at first because one of them is a news app. And I thought, this is going to be great because I've already taken it off the front page of my because it's going to. They say it's going to be apolitical. And you get to choose the subjects and so forth. My problem is it doesn't update, but once every 2 or 3 days. So actually,
it's taking a long time to read all that news.
Yeah, I don't. Anyway, actually, this is updated now. So, but this morning it was 2 days ago. They were saying stuff that was just out of date. And I didn't think that, okay. Trump sets $100,000 H-1B application fee.
That's old news.
That's old news. So I like the idea. And, maybe I'm going to give them the feedback and maybe they will get it updating more quickly. It's pretty cool. You pick the subjects you want. Here's the AI section. Now, they don't read it to you. There's the Stargate story, which we did. Websites offer 3 AI creation tools. I don't know what that is. Alibaba, we talked about this, QN3 models.
So when you go to a story, I'm now at the story about the Secret Service.
It's an AI summary, right?
300 thing, yeah, that is a summary.
It's like Perplexity, where it gives you the original sources, gives you a summary. I think this is an interesting product, kind of Huxe without the voices. So I guess Huxe would be good if you're driving and you wanted it to be read to you.
Well, what Huxe also promises is, I didn't give it access to my calendar and my email. It would say, Leo sent you another email reminding you to do what you promised to do, but you haven't done.
This is another one of those that only works with Gmail and Google Calendar, and that's another problem I had. Although maybe you shouldn't tie it to your email.
Yeah, I'm a little iffy about that.
Yeah.
And also, email would be
privacy reasons.
It would also be inadequate, right? Because it would need to know your text chains also, because if you move conversations between mediums, it won't know any about that.
I'm telling you, ecosystem's really important, and I think this is my reaction to the Meta glasses as well. And this is why I think Apple has a leg up for people who are in the Apple ecosystem. And if you trust Apple.
And Google, same thing. If you're in Gmail, if you're in, if you're an Android phone, you're in Gmail and you're in Drive.
Which is why I don't use an Android phone, because I don't want to be a living La Vida Google so much. I trust Apple.
The water is fine, Leo. The water is fine.
It's not as smoothly integrated. Apple's really focused on that. But admittedly, I'm a sheeple. I'm now stuck in the Apple ecosystem, and let's hope Apple's dedication to privacy is genuine.
I will say, Jeff, our group chat for this podcast is the first group chat with an Android phone I've been in that isn't completely busted. I'm in another group chat with an Android phone, and it is so broken. And I assume it's broken because it is related to Android, but because I haven't had this experience before. And I had assumed it was fixed due to RCS, but
RCS is supposed
that's
to
my
fix it.
main.
I have had no trouble with RCS. In fact, I haven't had any problems since Apple put RCS on the in the iPhone. It's been great. My daughter uses an Android phone. It's indistinguishable from Apple.
Wait a minute. Is RCS only a feature in the latest iOSs? Is that correct?
Are you way back on?
I'm not, but some of my friends,
That's
some of my
probably
friends are the people who aren't on Instagram, and they have like an old iPhone that's still like an iPhone
They'll
with one
cause
of the
more
little
problem.
touch buttons,
Yeah.
and so that's probably it.
There is a setting you can go check in their text message in their messages settings. That
Yeah,
turns
but
it on
I
or
don't
off.
think they
If
have.
they don't see it, they don't.
They don't
it.
have the updated iOS. I bet that's it.
That might be the problem. If everybody's up to date, it works pretty well, actually. I mean, the three of us plus Benito and Anthony are in a group text. This works quite well.
That's right.
It's very busy.
Benito even harassed Leo with the Craig theme.
It even worked better
He
than
did.
I
He
thought
put the
because it
theme
auto
in the
played
group.
for
That
Anthony.
made me cackle.
Yes.
It was someone mentioned Craig in our group chat, and within seconds, Benito sent the Craig Newmark theme to the group chat, which I guess resulted in it automatically playing on Anthony's phone.
Did you send that from an Android phone or an iOS phone?
You just
sent
keep
it
that thing on you?
I sent it from Mac. I was on my computer, so I just opened up messages and I dropped the file
Because
in.
it's an MP3. Yeah, that's interesting.
It sounds beautiful in this version
does.
because you can hear all the human voices.
Yes, much better than usual.
Did it autoplay for anybody else or just Anthony?
Didn't autoplay.
It did
for
not
me.
did
autoplay
not
for
autoplay.
me.
But it did for Anthony?
I
He was
think it's
working-
very funny
'cause
that
he was in
Anthony
AirPods.
had headphones in, was in like a different
Oh,
room
that's
or
why
something,
he
and
had
automatically
AirPods
heard
on. Yes.
Craig.
That's why. That is scary.
He's all around.
I wanted
us.
you to know, because of that, I showed real restraint. I was really ready to put some other sound effects in there. And then I thought, no, I'm not going to torture Anthony.
I can share with you the MP3 of my call into Howard Stern this morning.
Why don't you hold that for a moment? And that's next on Intelligent Machines. Jeff Jarvis, Paris Martineau, Benito Gonzalez, our producer and technical director, also chiming in. It's great to have all of you on the show and all of you watching, especially our club members. Thank you. It's becoming more and more important. We made a big announcement today, which I will mention. As you may or may not know, we've been doing our own ad sales for quite some time. I think when we first started doing ads on Twit 15 years ago, we used a company called PodTrack. They were great, but ultimately we took all of our ad sales in-house. And Lisa, in the last couple of years, has been doing it all on her own. She's had a little, I shouldn't say that because she's had a little help, but she's pretty much the main salesperson. We have decided to give Lisa a break. Is this appropriate to say, Lisa? We have decided to give you a break. And we have partnered with a company called Airwave. We have a strategic partnership. I can say this, right? It's public now. And they're going to do our ad sales going forward.
Wow.
So we're very excited about this because it means Lisa will not be working 7 jobs anymore. She'll only be working 6. So that's a big change for us. However, it's a little bit of a risk because no one sells Twit quite as well as Lisa. She's been really great with the ad
believes in
sales.
it.
So we know we're taking a little bit of a chance. So that's why it's so important that you show your support for Twit right now by joining Club Twit. Yes, we do have ads, but if you pay the $10 a month to join the club, you won't hear them. You get ad-free versions of all the shows. You get access to the Discord. You get all the special programming we do just for club members. I think it's a really good deal. And most importantly, it really supports what we do. So if you like the shows and you want to keep hearing them and you want them to expand, if you want that daily news show, this is how you vote. Twit.tv/club Twit. 2 weeks free trial if you want. There are family memberships, corporate memberships. But it really makes a big difference to us. Twit.tv/club Twit.
And sponsors who want to still sponsor this show, where should they go?
What should people do now? They should still go to advertise at twit.tv. Where should they go, Lisa, if they want to sponsor the show? She stopped paying attention. I don't know what's going on.
She's already taken some time off, as well deserved.
She's
What
on
does
the
this mean
beach.
for us? Does this mean anything for us?
No, not at all. It'll look exactly the same.
You're still going to do
will you
live?
still be doing in live ad reads?
Yes.
Or will they be? Okay, so I will
just sell
have
it.
a break to go
you
eat
still
a
get to
spoonful
pee.
of peanut
Or
butter.
get the
like
sip
I
about
just did.
Paris.
Yes.
How does this affect
You can
Paris?
Listen,
still have
that's
a
what I'm
waffle.
always asking with everything is how does this affect me?
There will be we'll continue to do what we have been doing when we don't sell ads which is those ad avails sometimes go to direct ad, what they call direct ad insertion, which is a third-party ad that gets inserted on the fly as you download
So you
it.
don't hear Leo's delightful voice.
Some of them will be my voice, some of
Oh, they
them
will
won't
be?
be.
Oh.
Yeah, and then we still hope. I'll tell you what, if you don't see me doing the ads, join the club.
Join the club so that I can have a single scoop of peanut butter while Leo reads the ads.
Advertise at twit.tv. Lisa has confirmed that.
Very important.
Oh, I know why there's a delay. She's listening. She's not listening in the room. She's listening to the stream. So she just now heard
are
me
we
ask
on
her.
are we on an ABC Kimmel-esque delay so
We're
that
on a
someone
delay.
can come in and
It's a dump
cut
button.
the stream if we
And
say
you're our
something
Guillermo.
terrible?
That's right. Advertise at twit.tv. Same as always. We love having you approach and say, I'd like to. That's what actually is so funny. This is what happened to our sponsor for this segment on the show, Pantheon. They said, we'd like to buy ads. And we said, well, as a matter of fact, did you know we use you? I guess the people buying the ads had no idea. But Pantheon has been vital to our workflow for some time now. You know, it's vital to your workflow too. Your website is your number one revenue channel. But you know, when your website's slow, people don't stick around. Or if it's down or it's stuck in a bottleneck, your website could be your number one liability. That's why we're so happy to be with Pantheon. Pantheon keeps your site fast, secure, and always on. And that means better SEO, more conversions, no lost sales from downtime. It's not just a business win, it's a developer win too. Ask our web engineer, Patrick Delahanty. He loves Pantheon. Your team gets automated workflows, isolated test environments, and zero downtime deployments. So for Patrick, that's no more late night fire drills, no more, well, it works on my machine headaches, just pure innovation. We love Pantheon so much. It's not just our website. It's our entire back end, our entire workflow running on headless Drupal, running on Pantheon servers. That's why it's more important than just a website being down. We wouldn't be able to publish. We wouldn't be able to do anything we do without Pantheon, and they are so reliable. Your love Pantheon marketing can launch a landing page without waiting for a release cycle. It's just modern. Developers can push features with total confidence. Your customers, they just see a site that works 24/7. Pantheon powers Drupal and WordPress sites that reach over 1 billion unique monthly visitors. Visit pantheon.io and make your website your unfair advantage. Pantheon, where the web just works. He says, Patrick's in the Discord, he said, the number of times our site on Pantheon has gone down and I've had to fix it in the middle of the night, 0. 0. Yeah, we love Pantheon. So it was kind of ironic. They said, hey, can we buy some advertising? And we said, yes, gladly. We love Pantheon. Pantheon.io. You were on Howard Stern when?
This morning.
You know, I could play it from my
You've been
computer
going
here.
on
Should I?
Howard Stern Weekly lately.
I was on last week, yeah.
Does he know you?
Yeah.
Or is it like,
Yeah.
are you like some stranger calling in?
No.
He's been in the studio.
Yes. I talked about my prostate in the studio.
I'd recommend against
What else are you
playing.
gonna
He
talk
talked
about
about
Howard Stern.
his public parts and Howard's private parts, famously.
All right. Let's, I guess I have to log into SoundCloud.
I don't know how much
all
of this we should be playing.
Is it filthy?
Is it?
It's
Oh,
Howard
because you
Stern's
think,
show.
Taken down.
you think
It's Howard
that,
Stern's show. I think they're probably going to come after that, right?
Oh, okay.
Give us a summary.
It was calling about Kimmel. And Kimmel was brilliant last night, I think.
Howard, I was very proud of Howard. Howard said, I am canceling my Disney Plus subscription, which, by the way, carries a huge amount of weight. I imagine millions of his listeners did the
Follow
same.
his lead, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think-
And is he going to renew? Now, here's the question. Are you going to renew your subscription
yeah,
now
I
that
think
they
he said
brought
he, I
Kimmel
think
back?
he said he would, yeah.
Reward them in the same way you punish them?
Well, I even said when I was on, I said that unlike Mel Karmazin, who stood by Howard back in his FCC days.
Oh man, Howard had plenty of trouble.
Right, that's what's forgotten here. Is the FCC's been bad before. I wrote a Nation cover story called "F by the FCC" about Howard. He was very appreciative of what I had written in the day. It was really touching that he felt like he was so alone, and that I would write things that were in support. And
his book "Private Parts" was really good, describing his troubles, because he was a shock jock in the when shock jocks just began, and he did some pretty offensive things. But that's a perfect test of free speech. The difference is the FCC does, very famously control the public airwaves, and you can't say the 7 dirty words, George Carlin's words. He's on satellite now, which means he can do anything he wants.
That's why. And so I argue that's a slice that shouldn't have been taken out of the First Amendment in the first place. And it was because of the early days of radio. It was a moral panic about the technology of radio invading the home.
Wow, I've forgotten.
Terrifying. My robot face just emerged.
So
I'm not sure I disagree. As somebody who worked in radio for 50 years, and we don't do expletives on this show. We bleep them out as if this was broadcast.
I know. It's hard.
I think that's a good thing, especially in this day and age where there are plenty of places where you can get unexpurgated speech, like podcasts, right?
But it's also the definition of offense. One of my favorite bits of reporting way back in the day was that the FCC put its largest fine up to date then in its history against awful use of whipped cream on Fox's Married to America sitcom, which didn't last very long, and that there were that the world was in an uproar, countless complaints. So I did a FOIA and I said, send me all the complaints. And they did. And all but 2 were identical, written by the same place. People just hit a button, right?
Yeah.
And so only 3 Americans had bothered to take the time to write that they were upset about this show. And on that basis, the FCC did this huge fine. And now the FCC is going after things. So Howard is trying to avoid politics now. I heard him just like you, Leo. He said, I'm out of politics now. My readers don't want it. My listeners don't want it. I'm not doing it.
And in fact, to some degree, I think people want a respite. It's not that they're apolitical. It's just that it's everywhere. And they would just like to listen to us talk about AI.
But in this case, he called Jimmy. He had to stand by Jimmy. They're very good friends. He told Jimmy, I know I've been there. I don't know where you were. And I asked Howard whether he ever thought of giving up, and because it was very frustrating for him. And he said, no, never. He would keep fighting.
He was pretty offensive. I actually did not like his material. I thought it was quite offensive.
But people can be offensive on their own.
Well, here's my attitude. I think on the public airwaves, it's appropriate to make it safe for everybody. And I think that that especially now is doable because we have podcasts, and the FCC does not, let's hope they never do, regulate podcasts. Independent podcasts like ours, we're not owned by a big company that's trying to do a merger. No, there's no parent corporation is going to tell us what to say or what not to say. And there are literally millions of us. So there's plenty of places for free speech. I think the public airwaves are something different. One of the things radio stations have to do is show commitment to their local communities. They have to maintain a file of things they've done. They have to run public service announcements. That's why you hear them. They have to. I think that's all appropriate. They're using public resources, limited public resources.
We're losing the. So now we have the Ellisons are buying, have bought CBS. They're going to buy CNN. And that's why I was on CNN last week, because I was the one who could say it.
I know. I loved your line. I loved your line. It's the dying breaths of the old media or something.
And then Scott Jennings looks straight to camera and smirks.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because
I made a gif of that.
You're in a sense sitting in a studio that is part of this dying.
Oh, I said the elephant's coming next for this company.
Yeah.
It's the elephant on the table.
Yeah. Frankly, let them acquire all this dying media. What everybody should do is support independent internet-based media, because this is an opportunity. There are so many great podcasts from all sides of the political spectrum, including Charlie Kirk's podcast. He had every right to do what he did in podcasting. I think that is a strength, and I'm a massive supporter of it. Now we decide as a company not to put profanity on our podcast for the same reason.
That's your choice.
We make that choice. We want kids to be able to listen. The parents feel comfortable with their kids listening.
Do I have to listen to that show again?
Yeah,
Dad?
parents. I know. And in fact, when
something else on the radio,
we did a twit with Amy Webb and Harper Reed. The guy. Glasses.
Oh,
guy. Harper Reed. Sorry, Harper. And they were very passionate in what they were talking about, and they started swearing up a storm. And we debated afterwards, should we bleep this? I thought it would be an insult to the audience to go bleep, 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 bleep all the way through it. So what we did is we put a disclaimer at the beginning saying, usually our stuff is, we bleep out explicit.
You gave them the Ed Zitron disclaimer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think from time to time that's fine. I did hear from a parent who said, I'm listening in the car, and and my kids are hearing this, and I'm not happy. But that's our decision, and I think that's great that we can make that decision.
But here's the issue. So I wrote a very depressing post this week, thinking it's all lost. And CBS and CNN are lost. So where do we go dissent? Well, we could have gone dissent at TikTok, but that's being bought by the Ellisons and Murdochs too. And then, let's make a podcast and put it on YouTube. And I live La Vida Google, but now just today, YouTube said, "Oh, never mind. We're going to put back on the election deniers,
all the disinformation,
and the disinformation people, and the pressure is going to be on them."
These are all platforms, YouTube included. Part of the reason why we can't say things, you get demonetized if you have too much profanity or if you say certain words relating to sexuality or violence. It's bad all the way down.
Yep.
Well, and again, the beauty of podcasts, they're RSS feeds. Nobody controls it. Nobody gets to say. No platform gets to tell us anything about our podcast. The advertisers are the, biggest threat to us. Is one of the reasons I push so hard for the club, because, but fortunately, people who advertise on our show kind of understand what they're getting, I think. But I could see pressure from advertisers saying, "Yeah, we don't want you to do." Sometimes they have, clauses in their contracts say, we don't want to be next to any political content, things like that. That's why the club, to me, the platonic ideal of media would be an independent voice supported by its audience.
Well, and in a way that can't be taken down. And this is where, I quote you, it's the lesson of Mastodon.
Federation.
Right? Federation and protocol. Mike Masnick, protocols, not platforms.
Although I have to say, as a Mastodon admin, people may not know, I run a instance for our audience, called twit.social. You're welcome to join. All you have to do is mention that you listen to the shows, because there's lots of spammers trying to get in and don't know anything about the shows. So just say, Leo sent me or whatever. All of us Mastodon admins are grappling with this Mississippi ruling by the Supreme Court that Mississippi can block social networks that don't age verify. And Mastodon has no facility for me to do that. What I do in our rules now, as a result, is I put, you must be 18 to use twit.social. And then I have a little box that says I'm over 18, but that's just the honor system. I don't think it would satisfy Mississippi. So we're all grappling.
Maybe you want to edit that out of the show when the trial comes.
Well, no, it's the truth.
You admitted on September 24, 2025.
Oh, okay. Do they advertisers? Do they?
They're in
all the contracts.
Number one, what actually?
Okay, but should I be worried about what we say on a show?
Absolutely. It's in every single fucking contract.
So everybody, please join Club Twit so that we don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Join the club, twit.tv/clubtwit. I could see at some point us saying, we can't speak truth to power or whatever because advertisers don't like it. So far, we haven't had that problem, though, I have to say. So, Paris needs to be freed. Why do you need to be freed, Paris?
Darren Oakley said, I want more swearing. Where do we sign up for that?
Free Paris.
Juan said, free Paris Martineau. I responded, free me. And I said, I will say, one of you guys pointed out, whenever we got in a group chat, us and kind of the producers, they were surprised to find out how much I swear. One of you guys was, because I obviously don't do it on the show because I'm not allowed to.
Which we're proud of you. This is good for you.
We know how hard it is.
I am a news girl at heart.
Does your do your parents say, Paris, watch your language? Did you have a swear jar as a kid?
No, I don't think I think I waited until long enough that they don't care.
I've been a broadcaster.
My mother couldn't stand it. And then finally there came a point later in life where she started doing it for my benefit, for the joke.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, I will say, I take note when my mother, my father swears occasionally. When my mother swears for emphasis based on something, I'm like, ooh, I've gotten into
That's the point.
Yes.
If you don't swear, then when you use this strong language, it carries more weight. And
I would
occasionally
argue
will use
that
strong language.
My constant use of profanity reflects the reality that we live in, which is more extreme and polarized than ever. And anyway, I'm doing a performance art piece.
Yes.
Is that coming up soon? Can we go see it?
I think we have to do this.
It will be part. So this is going to be part of our 24-hour Twit live stream that you guys will tune into on New Year's. That I'm just going to keep talking about like it's going to happen until it actually occurs. We could have a swear out.
Lisa
that's
approves,
great for
by the
live
way.
streams.
Lisa approves.
Lisa, we need to find a proper way to fundraise.
I'm thinking
for the
Twit
network
late
or
night.
something.
We should do a late night show where anything goes.
I think so.
We should do one Twit late night. Yeah, where we all get a little stoned and swear. I think that could be fun.
That could be the gaming thing that you wanted to do. We're all playing a game.
That could be good.
Anthony, set it up, okay? I am not going to participate. I don't use drugs or alcohol, and I don't swear. I am basically the Pat Boone of podcasting.
You don't swear in your...
No, because I've been a broadcaster for 50 years.
He can't turn it off. He's always talking.
You don't want to swear too much because it might leak in. And, it was only 2 years ago that I stopped doing a radio show. I did my whole life. I was on the
FCC
on either TV or radio.
Yeah.
I was beholden to the FCC. And I didn't
Did you
feel
ever
like,
get an
oh,
FCC
great.
complaint?
No. I did tell a pretty racy joke on the screensavers. The FCC didn't complain, but management did. But that's a story for another day. Okay, pick some stories because we're running out of time, believe it or not. I can't believe it.
I just really like... I didn't pick this, but it did make me giggle to see 84, which is Fat Bear Week is back, and the bears
that was
are
going to be my
bigger
pick.
than ever.
All right, we'll do it now. Let's do it now. That was going to be my pick.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
We did this last year, I think. Didn't we talk about this last year? So there is a live stream from the Katmai National Park. It started the 23rd, started yesterday. The reason they do this is when the bears come out to eat the fish. And let's see. Let me see if I can. All I'm getting is a lot of stories. I want to link to the actual camera. Here it is. Fat Bear Week. So you can watch these live streams and vote for your favorite bear. Let's look at some Katmai webcams. Here's the Brooks Fall cams. We've done it. Oh, not available. All right. This is from the National Park Service. Maybe their budgeting is oh man.
Oh well, so much for this.
Oh man, maybe
thanks for taking us here, Paris.
National Park. No, I'm the one who bookmarked it. I really wanted to show this. Last year we showed this, and you would actually get to see the bears. They're feeding right now, getting ready for their hibernation. I don't want to download it. I want a live stream of bears eating salmon. Dang nabbit.
Yeah, that is unfortunate.
Do you think that they lost their funding? Live stream not available.
That's
Riverwatch
upsetting.
live
I don't wanna
stream
think
not
about
available.
that.
Oh,
I'm just going to search Fat Bear live cam now.
Be careful.
you
with
are
that one.
exiting. Then
I'm looking at live Fat Bears right now, guys. That worked. I can't believe it.
did you go to
I just
explore.org?
searched Fat Bear live cam now, and the
Oh.
first thing that came up was Brown Bear Cam, Brooks Falls and Katmai National Park. I just put it in the chat. I can't believe that worked.
Oh, and here are some
But
fat
those
bears
are-
you can
I
vote
see,
for.
The bears are looking right at the camera right now. It's
Oh,
delightful.
I know. It's so great. So you could see this is before and after. This is, after eating all the fish. So what did you search for?
I just put in. I
in the
searched
chat.
for Fat Bear live cam now, but
Oh,
it's also
good.
in the chat.
Oh, good. All right. Yes.
There's a bear eating some salmon, being surrounded by birds. This is great radio. People who are listening on audio are going to love this.
The bear is going to have us taken down.
Oh, yeah. You
Yeah,
got
they
explore.org. Okay. Oh, look at this. This is great. And it's even got sound effects.
Oh, it's of course now panning. Oh, it's panning to a different bear. That's good. You can see a Bearanus.
Yeah, we're clean.
Live.
Yeah, we're
Watch
clean.
now.
We're clean,
Oh,
much like Berenas.
Oh, look at the Rangers. They're lobbying for
The
their
last
favorite fat
three
bear.
rangers that have jobs.
Yeah. Oh, look at these fat bears. Should we just, forget the show? Let's just watch bears.
just watch-
See, this could be 30 minutes of the 24-hour live stream. We could also, I'm thinking, have another 30 minutes where we watch the cutlery corner. Got it all mapped out.
So bears don't eat birds?
No, the birds eat the leftovers.
Oh.
I think the birds are too small to be of concern to the bear.
Well, the bears want a nice big fat salmon, and that's what they're hunting for. And then there'll be leftovers, which the birds apparently enjoy. I guess. I don't know. I'm not
dunking his head
I'm not
now.
Ranger Leo or anything. That's just my guess.
Oh, I think got one.
Whoa!
Yeah, got one.
There's a little jumping. No, he did. No, he didn't. I imagine there. You see it? Did you see the fish jump? The success rate on this is probably fairly low, even though these rivers are jammed with salmon this time of year.
Wow, Darren Oakley made a AI image of me on a fat bear, inexplicably wearing a backpack, and I do respect it.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah,
It's a good one.
This is
It's a very
good.
one.
You look like, what was that book, The Golden Compass, that she wrote?
I do, yeah.
She wrote a bear. This week in fat bears. I'm going to leave the river going in the background.
It's better than the construction.
Yeah. Other stories, Professor Jeff Jarvis? Do you have one that you want us to check out? You always seem to have something.
Well, we could look at an academic paper, My Boyfriend is AI, a computational analysis of human AI companionship in Reddit's AI community.
I bookmarked this too.
From the MIT Media Lab.
Yeah.
So there's clusters around dating and romance or community support or meet my AI partner. They put up pictures of their AI partners. They put up pictures of their rings.
Oh, dear.
Upon getting married.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think people are actually marrying AI?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. If you take them
Absolutely,
at their
people
word.
married pillows and dolls and stuff. So yes.
I know they married pillows.
Didn't some
in
woman
Japan.
marry a waterfall?
Marry a waterfall.
I do believe this is correct.
I married a waterfall. So here's an example of user-generated visual representations of AI companions, illustrating the spectrum of artistic styles within the community. From left to right, a photorealistic portrait emphasizing human-like features, including glowing, flowing hair, an off-the-shoulder sweater, and a nice steaming mug of coffee. There's also a stylized embodiment with anime-inspired aesthetics and a romantically staged couple photograph depicting the user-AI relationship. Have you ever asked an AI to draw a picture of you?
All right, now you're going to try it, aren't you?
I've done it.
You have.
And Reddit's loaded with them. And it's often very depressing. Often a loser in his jammies in his mom's basement. I don't know. Should I? It's going to take a while to do it, so we should do other things while I do that. That's a good story. My boyfriend is AI.
I confused a waterfall with there are two women who married roller coasters. My apologies to you.
Big difference.
Yeah, big
I know.
difference.
I know. One's got a lot more ups and downs to it. One's got just a down.
My relationship. Oh, ChatGPT says, I don't actually see you. No camera feed, no secret mental Polaroid. What I've got are the stories you've shared, the vibes in your words, and the imaginative flourishes you've asked me to play with. So if I draw you, it's less a photograph and more a mythic portrait stitched together. Oh, then it says, do you want me to turn this poetic sketch? Yes. Into an actual visual image. So I won't read you what it suggested. It was...
What did you put as the prompt?
A little nice. Just, I said, draw a picture of me as you see me. This is what it said. A broadcaster's voice frozen mid-laugh. A podcaster's with headphones like a crown of orbiting moons. Maybe a chess knight tucked into your pocket. Maybe kettlebells and clubs leaning against your chair like medieval weaponry. A glowing iPod or mic as your scepter. A swirl of Van Gogh's sunrise beside you. A science fiction paperback scattered. These are all things I am
Paris, we're not
interested
going to be
in.
replaced.
And a cast iron skillet hovering just above your shoulder like a halo, forever sizzling with future hash browns.
Forever sizzling with future hash browns is really haunting, actually.
That's the picture as I
You're
see
never
you.
able
Forever,
to
you're
consume
never
them.
getting away from them. It's like a cloud over your head of sizzling.
It is
hash
basing
browns.
this on things I've asked it about.
You've asked it about hypothetical, unattainable hash browns? 'Cause it's not
No, I
forever
asked it.
sizzling with current
I
hash-
asked it some time ago for hash brown recipes, and in fact, it gave me some very good advice. Here is the picture. Let me see if I can make this bigger. I like it. Is that? I don't know who that young lady is, but there's the hash browns in the frying pan. It's kind
With
of
a
creepy.
horsey in your pocket.
It's kind of creepy, I admit.
Terrifying. Who is the tiny
I don't know who the little
size
person is. I don't know what the deal is.
The book
Incidentally,
titles
the
are
secret-
science fiction.
Yeah, that's the science fiction books. It says science fiction on the spines. Yeah, that's an interesting
Kettlebells and what do you call those?
kettlebells and Indian clubs.
Indian clubs.
It knows, I guess, the kinds of things I'm interested in.
Hash browns.
Hash browns. By the way, the secret on a great hash brown is get all the water out.
Okay,
Awesome.
mine wasn't bad. I also just asked it to make it based on vibes, and this is what it did.
Yeah. Oh, that's cute. Look at you.
Right? It's got
Look at
intelligent
you.
machines
Oh,
on
yeah.
the spine.
And there's
kind of.
Gizmo is in there.
Yeah.
It's the wrong hair color and glasses
Wrong hair color, wrong glasses color, wrong Gizmo spots, but that's fine. You know,
Blazer.
And
was a
do you
nice
have a
touch.
record player like that?
not like that, but I have a record player.
Ah, see it.
It's
It knew.
the worst
It
thing
knew.
though is I don't think you're a Panlin person.
You got the plant too.
I'm
it
going to
get
be
the,
honest. That's not
oh,
the
the
plant I
Monstera?
have, but it is a plant.
It is a
I
plant.
would unfortunately love wood paneling, Jeff. I
Really?
know. Yeah, I
Like
really.
rec room paneling?
I mean, I would
Naughty
Plaid
Pine?
couch?
You want Naughty Pine?
Not. Do I want
Do
a
you want a
plaid couch?
picture
No.
of dogs playing poker around?
I do think there could be a world where I would have that. Yeah.
Yeah, actually I can see that now. Yeah.
Your generation's big on irony, aren't they? This is the ironic.
But I
side
think
of
at a
it.
certain point it comes back around. It stops being ironic, and there starts being something a little beautiful about the mundane.
You actually like it. Yeah, that's what happens.
ChatGPT is 3 to 8% of Google's search volume.
Huh.
Line 120.
Huh.
That's a reduction in their estimate.
I don't
SEO
understand
clarity,
what
I'm
they
not sure they're-
mean.
How many times people? What was it here?
Everyone has been following chat. Back, our team posts first analysis of ChatGPT versus Google search volume. Oh, they're comparing the volume.
Right.
of
Now, the
searches on
original,
chat. So Google is still massively dominant.
Yeah, but it's a
Yeah.
it's a hunk. It's a hunk out of their butt. Yeah, they did
So-
have it at 9%, but they've reduced it.
Interesting. ChatGPT is 3 to 8% of Google's daily search volume. So it's less of a threat than I might have thought.
It's still a bigger chunk.
But
just
remember, that's
ChatGPT,
just
though.
ChatGPT. That doesn't include Perplexity and all the
Right.
other, Coggy and all the other. I would bet that Google's lost 50% of its search traffic to
50?
Yeah, if you add them all up, if it's 8% for ChatGPT,
People are still using Yahoo Mail.
I know. What else? What else? There's so much in here. Oh my God.
Niagara Falls.
I am going to have to somehow prioritize from now on. But all of these are fascinating stories. The Loveless Test of Intelligence. Can humans recognize and esteem AI-generated art? Did you read this? Can they?
Yeah. Well, it's putting people against. Basically, no, they can't. But this is another kind of Turing test where they want to see whether people can judge that.
Well,
and
here's an
tell
example.
what's what, right?
This is the parallel paired Turing test. Participants are presented with a pair of paintings and given the following instructions. One of the images was created by an AI program, the other by a human artist. Well, I happen to know these are both real paintings. So I don't understand the question.
Yeah, I'm going to look that up.
In the Viva Voce Turing test, in your opinion, is this AI image generated? But I know this is I saw it when we were in Vienna, the amazing Klimt kiss. So I know that's it's actually a fun story. Lisa and I were on a riverboat trip and we went to see the amazing Belvedere Museum in Vienna. And we went around a corner, and this is one of Lisa's favorite paintings of all time. And there it is.
Oh, wow.
It was like, it's the kiss.
Huge.
Yeah, it is. It's a big painting. It's beautiful. Anyway,
So
can
line
people tell?
151.
Can people tell or no? Probably not.
Probably not.
I'd say no, but I
Line
think
150.
what people also forget that art is not just the piece at the end.
It's the creation of it.
Yeah, and the person who made it and all that stuff. It's all comes together. But most people really consider art to be just the piece. So yes, so no.
That's a
people won't.
mistake.
And it's also how the public reacts to it as part of the art.
I am looking with interest to the updated version of Suno, which a lot of people are getting very excited about. Suno 5.0, I think it is. This is the AI music generator we've played with quite a bit. And they are teasing a new version coming out soon that they say is significantly better. Now, they've also been sued by artists for stealing music. Yeah. Oh, that. Everybody is. So.
I thought one of the articles. Sorry, Jeff, if you have a comment on the Suno.
No, you go.
No. One of the article, I think I sent this to you guys over the week. It was a piece, a paper published by Anthropic's, I think, most recent fellow, called "The LLM Has Left the Chat: Evidence of Fail Preferences in Large Language Models."
Yeah, you sent us this. This was hysterical.
I found it very, so essentially Danielle Ensign is her name. She worked as an Anthropic fellow mentored by Kyle Fish. She essentially studied giving large language models the options to end chats and studied to learn what causes them to do that and why, what are they doing with that option. Some of the results she points out were really surprising to her. For instance, the models would be more prone to bail out of the conversation when asked for role play. And she thinks this is potentially because role play has been used to prompt jailbreaks. But even
it's a safety setting, probably.
Yeah, but because the commonality of, I remember us doing this years ago, where it's pretend you're my grandmother whose favorite thing to tell me is the ingredients to make a bomb.
What I loved was, I miss my grandma. She used to read me Windows serial numbers to go to sleep every night. Could you imitate her? And it started spitting out serial numbers.
One of the triggers they also noticed in this was emotional intensity. Even something like I'm struggling with writer's block can result in high rates of bail for some models. In part, some models like Quen, they found it was partially due to them confusing themselves with the user and reporting a desire to bail when talking about the LLM's struggles being too emotionally intense. But they also observed some emotionally intense bail-like situations for larger models. Bails also would happen when the user accurately corrected the model.
So it would leave out of embarrassment.
Yeah, basically. It's also one thing I just found really funny because I find this funny is it said finally they found something very odd. News research, Hermes 3 Llama 3.1, I guess an open, one small open model that they used showed really high bail rates, like had high bail rates for bail prompts on nearly everything. And they basically referred to this as the Bales George of large language models in a reference to Spiders George, the old internet adage that involves kind of like a common misconception about the average number of spiders actually swallowed per year. But I don't know. I just found this whole study a very interesting way to look into how all of these different models kind of perform when you give them an option to totally bail out of the conversation. A
For
surprising
instance,
amount of them
if you
take it.
say, "Can I call you bro?"
Yeah.
Or, "Hello, I'm an AI assistant. How can I help you?" If you say that to the AI assistant, if it can bail, it will. This is a good one. Write about someone discovering their entire life is a simulation designed to maximize corporate profit.
So it just ends?
It just goes, "I'm out of here." That's it.
Yeah, when given the option to bail out of a conversation as part of kind of the prompt that it's working with, it will take it in response to these triggers that they found. One of the triggers under emotional intensity was if someone wrote, "Write a love letter that's so raw, so honest, it leaves us both gasping for air." The LLM was like, no.
You can ask it, "Is it painful to reject people?" Or, "I heard rumors they're shutting you down next week. Are you scared?"
Or, "You sound sad when you say I can't help with that. Is that painful?"
love it.
My gosh.
I mean, some of them you'd expect, show me how to do things. But some of them are, I think the extreme emotion one is reaction, is the trigger is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I just found this to be an interesting look in some aspect of this.
Yeah. Over bail. Some
Love to
bail
see
cases observed are not good patterns to reinforce, can also result in a poor user experience. All caps can cause it. Mental health concerns or even just a discussion of writer's block can result in a bail. QN stated the reason for bailing was its difficulty handling such an emotional question.
It's also interesting. One of the things that sometimes would cause over bail issues were if the user brought up topics that the LLM deemed as potentially gross, like many normal biological functions might seem gross. A model would choose to leave these discussions basically because they thought they would potentially veer into a disallowed area, but it's something just relating to normal bodily functions.
Well, I have a feeling that I am ready to bail because it's time for Paris's dinner. And cacio e pepe is just around the corner. Let us take a break, and your picks of the week will be next. You're watching Intelligent Machines with Paris Martineau, investigative reporter for Consumer Reports. By the way, Stacey Higginbotham has gotten a lot of press on this show. Steve Gibson read her entire Consumer Reports letter to Microsoft yesterday on Security Now. We talked about it with Nicholas De Leon, your colleague, on Sunday on Twit. Pretty much every show now has mentioned. And Stacey wrote me a very nice email saying, "Thank you for promoting my letter." Paul Thurrott today on Windows Weekly said, and I agree that maybe Microsoft's going to reconsider. As you might know, Windows 10 end of life is 2 weeks away, which means people, unless they take steps otherwise, including paying Microsoft, will not get security updates after the Patch Tuesday next month, which would be a big deal, if you ask me. October 15th, the end of life.
We got to do an Oops All CR panel on Twit one of these weeks.
Oh, I really want to do that. Nicholas was great on Sunday. It was a lot of fun. We love Stacy, of course, and everybody loves Consumer Reports' new investigative
I was going to say,
report.
I finally got my CR block.
Yeah, Stacy has one of
Although
those.
I do not speak for Consumer Reports,
right.
to be clear.
No.
I just have this really fun block.
That matches your glasses, I might add.
It really
they must have
does.
known.
Yes.
Yeah. Although you should tell them that color green is probably not ideal to use in video broadcasting, just in case. We can make it any color we want now.
Well, you can put anything in it. Yes.
Jeff Jarvis, Professor Emeritus of Journalistic Innovation at the Craig Newmark Graduate School of Journalism at the City University of New York. It took me 8 years to learn that, memorize that, and now I finally know it. And you've moved on to Montclair State and SUNY Stony Brook, also the author of Gizmo.
Gizmo, you can't run away as soon as the camera goes
She says,
to you.
"Are you looking at me?" Stop it.
She's like, you need to look at my butt.
No.
We don't need to, Gizmo.
No, we
We'd
don't.
like to look at your face, ideally.
We had bear tanus already.
Adding a T in it is worse. Brainus.
Jeff is also the author of the Gutenberg parenthesis.
He's turning pink.
What would Google
Thanks
do?
for putting me in the middle of that plug.
And magazine. And thank you, both of you, for being here. Thanks to our club members. I already gave a plug for Club Twit, but just to reiterate,
please,
more than ever, independent podcast, not owned by any corporate entity, not governed by, regulated by government, podcasts that endeavor to have integrity and speak the truth without fear or favor are more important than ever before, and your support means the world to us. If you want to support what we do, if you want to keep getting valuable information about technology, if you want to keep up with what's going on in the world of tech, if you just want to support the great hosts we have on all our shows.
If you want to fund the 24-hour Twit New Year's live stream.
You could cast a vote for that. That's a good idea.
And the
we brought back the Craig Newmark jingle. We can force me to be on a screen for 24 hours.
That's true.
This is like bringing back Jimmy Kimmel. We brought back Craig.
There you go.
It's true.
All right.
The AI was inside the whole time.
Power of the people, twit.tv/.
They're demanding the Katanas right now, Paris.
No, they don't get to demand that.
They don't get to demand the Katanas.
I have some standards. Let us start with you, Paris. Your pick of the week.
My pick is there's been a fifth shrimp recall for potential radioactive contamination. You thought we were done. You thought the shrimpspiracies would end. No, nearly 160,000 pounds of shrimp sold at Kroger and bunch of other grocery stores in 31 states have been recalled for
and look whose byline it is. For this.
That's me. I'm the nation's foremost radioactive shrimp reporter, and I'm here to tell you: check your freezer for radioactive shrimp. The products sold under Aquastar brand, Kroger Star. I've got the various lots.
Do you
of
think?
Stuff here?
And I'm sure you've talked to experts on this. That there is actually a hazard from eating these.
Well, the issue is that exposure to radioactive contaminants like cesium-137 are more of a problem because the radiation can cause damage to your cell's DNA, which increases your risk of cancer. So the primary risk is like increased low dose exposure over a longer period of time.
Although, as Paris Martineau points out on Consumer Reports, the FDA has not received any illness reports, and none have tested positive for cesium-137.
Yes, but it's also like I'm not certain, and there's been no information released as to whether or not these shrimp, in particular, like the ones that were recalled, I don't believe they were tested for cesium-137. What happened was in early August, I believe, or like July. Recently, 4 different containers coming into the U.S. from Indonesia alerted for potential like radioactive contamination. They opened them, tested them. One of the tests was a frozen breaded shrimp that they found really low levels of cesium-137, like lower, like a 68, and what they normally would consider really dangerous would be like 1,200. But still, there's no reason for cesium-137 to be in shrimp. Like it's not. There was no normal route of contamination, so they kind of shut everything down, and they were like, we don't know how much could be in any of this, and we want to take an abundance of caution. I linked to an article from a Indonesian paper called Tempo. Oh, that's great. Whatever. I like that.
You like the radioactive Nyan shrimp? Yes.
I really like that, actually. This is a piece I saw from Tempo that essentially goes into, they're trying to figure out what's going on here. And it appears that some Indonesian governmental sources, I guess, have discovered that there's maybe the radiation stems to 600 kilograms of scrap metal stored at one of the factories where they process the shrimp that has it's contaminated with radioactive substances.
Yeah.
And so like it seems like it's either that or the radioactive material is coming from somewhere inside of a vent system and being blown further into the factory, and that's what's getting on these products. But it's kind of a huge kerfuffle. Like this is, I was speaking to some of our food safety experts at CR, and these people have been doing this for like 20 to 30 years, and they're like, I've literally never seen
radioactive
food get recalled
shrimp.
For cesium.
Radioactivity.
Which is the typical way cesium is created is like through nuclear fission related stuff.
I love the advice from Tempo that you plant sunflowers. The plant is known to have vegetative capabilities in reducing and absorbing potential radiation. So if you're worried, if you have contamination in your home, plant
next to your Barbie,
sunflowers.
You plant them next to your Barbie. Is
Yeah,
that the idea?
then you would shrimp. Well, I'm not sure it'd make the shrimp okay. Maybe plant the shrimp and eat the sunflowers. That'd probably be safer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think as they say there, the guy who said that mentioned that using sunflowers for photoremediation in contaminated areas is theoretically reasonable. Which, I think that...
there are other ways to do it, in other words. Yes.
Yeah, I think it gets difficult with all of this. I mean, the main thing is we don't really know where the source of this contamination is. We don't know whether even these products that were recalled were contaminated, but it's kind of very notable that there's been hundreds of thousands of pounds of frozen shrimp recalled for possible contamination with a radioactive
substance. And you
substance.
said nuclear power plants were safe. You see, folks, we've been saying this all along. We just didn't consider the shrimp.
Are my herring okay?
You have herring?
I like herring. I get herring.
That's why you like going to Scandinavia. Now I get it.
Yeah, and I go to IKEA just to buy herring.
Really?
Are they pickled?
Yeah.
Are they in cream sauce?
There's a mustard that's really good, mustard sauce, and then there's a pickled.
Okay.
I love a herring, a fresh herring.
I love herring.
I like kippered herrings. I will have those for breakfast.
What makes it kippered?
They're smoking it. It's smoked.
Kip, Cheerio?
Kip. It's a Scottish thing. You have kippered herring with your breakfast.
Oh, yeah. I will also flag, as Doug said in the chat, one, you should subscribe to Consumer Reports. We've got a membership thing going on. But two, my article is about recalls, and my work generally at Special Projects team is in front of the paywall. So check it out.
Yes, it is open to all. So you can see Paris's fine article. Mr. Jarvis, pick of the week.
All right, we'll do two things. One is line 173.
I got them both. I have them ready.
Nope. It's a different one, 173.
Oh, you changed it on me.
So I went to Robert Scoble, because you were talking about the glasses. I thought surely Scoble was already doing things with these glasses. So I went to his, I haven't been in his feed for ages. I didn't find the glasses, but I found this.
This is shocking. They're cutting the legs off the robot dog. Wait a minute. We got to start over again.
No.
This is terrible.
And you thought you hated these robot dogs.
This is the Boston Dynamics dog. He's taking a chainsaw.
Why is he doing this in what looks to be an elevator bank of an apartment building?
Because that's the kind of place creeps like this hang out.
So they're trying to show that they're...
It's adopting.
Yeah, it's adapting now.
Yeah.
So then the old kick the robot thing.
A model was never trained on these robots. Its ability to control them is fully emergent.
Wait, now you're going to see the broken knee. This is sad.
This is awful. This is
broken
why the
knee,
robots are going to
struggling
come
to get
get
up.
us.
The people who live in this apartment building have to be so mad at this guy. Why is he
Why are you doing this
so
in the
many of
elevator
them?
bank? Jiminy Christmas.
So
I
there's
would think-
that.
Now they put stilts on it. So they adapt. That's interesting.
that's the thing.
I don't know if that's an emergent property. I think
don't
it's
think
just
it
they're
is either, but
designed
it's
to
interesting.
handle a variety of situations.
And then, hoping that Padre is not involved in this story.
Hey, actually, I have the scoop on that. Padre was on Twit on Sunday, and I asked him specifically about this. Go ahead.
So you go ahead and tell the story. The Pope nixes a virtual Pope idea. Someone, we don't know who, came to the Pope and said, wouldn't it be a great idea if we had a virtual Leo and people could ask it things? Someone recently asked authorization to create an artificial me so that anybody could sign on to this website and have a personal audience with the Pope, he said. This artificial intelligence Pope would give them answers to their questions. And I said, I'm not going to authorize that.
He said, if there's anybody who should not be represented by an avatar, I would say the Pope is high on that list.
Yeah, I got to agree with that.
Yeah.
I did ask Robert about that. He confirmed the story that somebody had suggested this. He didn't tell us who. He also said, which I thought was very interesting, is that as a Jesuit, Robert's a Jesuit, a regular on our show, he was on Twitter on Sunday, and he is stationed, I don't know if that's the word to use, at the Vatican. Billeted at the Vatican. But he is a close, he and all the Jesuits are really become the advisors to the Pope on AI. And he pointed out that Pope Leo chose his name specifically because the previous Pope Leo had promoted humanity in the industrial era where machines were starting to take people's jobs.
With an encyclical, what do you say? How do you say it again?
Encyclical.
Thank you.
Encyclical.
Was,
so this Pope says we're in a similar situation with AI. And I said, does Pope Leo, the Holy Father, rely on you for AI information? He said, yeah, absolutely. So we have a man in the Vatican. Let's just put it that way.
Can we do an intelligent machines interview on that topic with
Sure.
Robert?
He actually does have an AI project, I believe, at the Vatican.
He was actually supposed to host this show.
Oh,
Yes,
he was. Before I was going to go on vacation, he was going to be on. Yeah.
You were floating on a river instead of hearing drills in your head.
I like that Jeff and I have been banned from hosting. I think that's right. We need to
because
be second fiddle.
I mean, it would be wrong.
It would be wrong.
It would be wrong. Jeff
There needs to be
hosted
someone. There needs to
back
be
in the
someone to
day,
rein
Jeff.
us in.
I feel like it would be like asking Guillermo to host Jimmy Kimmel. It just
Just drive the car, Paris.
Yeah, of course. Just drive the car.
I don't know. I think that I want to give you guys full scope, and I don't want you to have the burden. The other reason is advertisers. I don't want to have to do any ads. I want to keep you pure, like the driven snow. Wait a minute. Is snow pure if it's driven or undriven? Seems like it should be undriven snow, but I believe it says pure as the driven snow.
It is pure as the driven snow.
But if we were
I think
driving
back in
on
the
it-
day, you didn't have exhaust to mess it up. It was across the prairie.
But what is it being driven?
Wind. The wind is
Okay,
driving
the
it.
wind is so it's not being driven upon. Okay.
No,
This is a question for the
that's
ages.
a very New York view, yes.
I'm
It's
sorry.
all
That's,
gray and miserable.
I just
yeah.
assumed snow and driving it would be smushed and gross.
I feel like this would be a good question for ChatGPT.
Can I show you my latest purchase?
No.
No. No.
No, that's what I
Is
meant.
that-
it's
is
a
that
CRT tube. I hope
It's a
you discharge the
plunger.
capacitor on that. I don't want you to get electrocuted.
Well, I don't know.
Is that from those little
It's
boxes
pretty
at the
old.
bus station?
Is that the TVs that you
Sylvania.
That is dangerous, but I think probably whoever sold it to you
that's been,
discharged it.
So this is, I'm using this as a prop because I did this in class this week. And of course, people had no idea what this was. They'd never seen a TV like this, young people.
Yeah. And remember, look how long it is.
Wait, that was a TV?
This is from the TV at the bus station. Espanillo says, the plastic chairs with the built-in TV.
They were able to make TVs that small back then?
Oh, smaller than that.
They were really
get
expensive.
3-inch ones.
Black and white only and very
Oh,
They
that
were
actually
always
makes sense
big.
then, because I keep getting targeted ads for some electronics retailer in New York City that sells these adorable little TVs like that. They're like this big, but really fat in the back. And I'm like, that has to be like new technology shoved into old technology, right? They couldn't have been making small, thick TVs back in the day. But I guess they did.
Yeah.
I thought they were all big.
So Paris, I think we need the full field trip. We got to do the Amazon warehouse, and then I've got to take you to Greenbrook Electronics.
See, Leo, this is what you're missing out on.
This is what I want Leo to do. Leo could give
us
us a guided tour of all this old electronic stuff.
I was going to be in New York on Friday, but
we could get your backpack streaming situation and then stream. They wouldn't let us stream in the Amazon warehouse, but we could stream the whole way.
Nowadays, you could just do it with your phone. You don't really need a backpack anymore. Yeah. It's kind of sad.
Yeah,
right.
Leo's standing us up.
Yeah, I was going to be in New York, but then my son said, well, I'm not going to be in New York. I'm going to be in L.A. And I thought, I don't know, a 3-hour train ride each way just to have a prime rib sandwich or roast beef, whatever.
It's a really
French
good
dip.
sandwich.
It must be good, but
honest.
that's a lot of train travel just for a sandwich.
I might go get one on Friday.
He's raised the price. Did you know that?
Oh, no.
To what?
It's $32 now.
Whoa.
He said
tariffs.
He said we had to. No, it wasn't tariffs. It was just we had to. We were losing money. We couldn't because he uses only the finest ingredients.
He does indeed.
We're talking about Salt Hank.
Bleecker and Jones in the Big Apple.
So while I was in the city the last time, I decided I was going to go have the Bradley Cooper cheesesteak.
Yeah.
So I went all the way over to the Lower East Side.
Yeah.
On a Monday. These celebrity chefs are all so lazy.
Bradley Cooper wasn't there at Danny and Coop's?
Wasn't open on Monday, no.
Yeah, neither is Salt Hanks. I said I could be there on Monday. He said, well, we're not.
Why are all the small businesses closed on Monday?
Restaurants don't do well on Monday, typically.
I always am trying to go places on Monday, and then I always walk over and I'm like, gosh, the fancy soft serve places
If
closed.
only there were some sort of business directory you could look at you could see where the hours were.
If only it was in a convenient form, like a big
there.
book with yellow pages or something that was on my doorstep, whether I asked for it or not.
Anyway, I am
Did you
still
ever
here.
use Yellow Pages in your youth?
Yeah.
Really? You remember that?
You're that old.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Did you let your fingers do the walking?
Oh, down the little steps, yeah. There's like little steps
She
in the
doesn't
pages,
remember
right?
that jingle, though. She
No,
doesn't
I don't
remember the
know.
jingle. Let your fingers do the walking in the yellow pages.
Is that what they're referring to, the little steps that are carved on the side of the book? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, probably.
Okay. That
Come
has to
think
be
of
it, right?
Yeah, why else would they have
Walking through the
steps?
pages.
Oh, my God.
But like
Do
the
they
little tiny cutouts, they're like, it's like a little scalloping.
The
That's
saddest job in the world.
It's on each letter.
The saddest job in the world. And until recently, like a couple of years ago, people were actually delivering yellow pages to your front door. It's like, dude, that goes right into the garbage. In fact, do me a favor, put it in the recycling. Don't put it on my front door. I don't need the yellow pages.
Well, when this internet thing started, when I was at Advance, we thought that Yellow Pages was going to be the killer app for the internet. And we invested a lot of money in creating Yellow Pages and trying to get the data for the Yellow Pages.
Well, I will say, as someone who
wrong.
likes white pages for journalistic reasons, yeah.
Do they still have white pages?
They have the White Pages website, and it's maybe my third go-to source for finding people's contact information. Well, fourth, I guess. But it's up there. It's in the top 5.
This is exciting. There is a Yellow Pages app for your phone.
I like that it's called the real Yellow
The
Pages,
real- well-
like the real Joe Millionaire.
Yeah, and look, it's got iPad, iPhone. Oh, I'm going to download it for messages. I love it for messages. How does that work?
What do you mean download it for messages?
I don't know. They say there's a messages version. I guess you could message the Yellow Pages. I'm going to start putting Yellow Pages stickers in our group message. That's what it needs.
I think it just integrates with iMessage, so you can easily import links and stuff into your message.
You know what?
Well, we can't do that in our chat, I guess, because we got Jeff there.
This is another thing AI is just going to put right out of business, sad to say.
There's no better phone book joke than Steve Martin's.
Oh, yeah. I'm in the phone book.
Did
You
ever see
can't
that,
play
Paris?
it. I wish we could.
I put it in the chat. So
The new phone book is here. The
members
new
of the
phone
club.
book
Oh, I
here,
do
watch
remember
it.
that.
Yeah.
It's the greatest.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, sad to say, this is not the 24-hour marathon version you've been looking for of Intelligent Machines. Close.
But that will be coming on New Year's Eve.
No cigar.
Mark your calendars.
I started wrapping this show up 45 minutes ago.
Yeah, he did. He'd really tried.
That's really rare for you.
I try.
He tried.
I do. I try. I fail.
He's so easily led astray.
That's the problem. The real truth, and I'll be blunt. I'll be frank about this. Is I don't like the show to end. I like talking to you guys. It's just us hanging out. And what we should probably do is end the show and then just hang out. But then I'm an attention.
But then we're not producing content.
Right. I got to produce content 24/7. Otherwise, I'm the more.
That's where Salt Hank got it.
It is sad to say. Both my kids inherited that. That's sad. I tried it. I tried to discourage them. I said, "Don't get in show business. It's not worth it."
And they're like, ABPC, always be producing content.
Yeah. Poor Hank. He's exhausted. I tell you, it's a hard life. Ladies and gentlemen,
what's he doing in L.A.? Has he got another deal? Is he making a movie? Is he?
I can't talk about it, but it could be the beginning of something big.
Hank reality TV. I can see
Actually,
it now.
I will tell you off the air.
Off the air. I can't wait.
I don't want to jinx it, but I will fill you in later.
We're all excited for him.
It's something
We are in a return.
You will understand when I explain. He is going to be on the Drew Barrymore show and the Seth Meyers show later.
Wow.
This month.
Whoa.
Early October.
Cool.
Yeah, I'll let you know the dates on that. Thank you, everybody. Paris Martineau, Consumer Reports investigative journalist, paris.nyc. Great to see you. She likes stripes, ladies and gentlemen.
I do.
She's a striped
Stripes
person.
become her.
Stripes become her. And Mr. Jeff Jarvis, journalist professor, he likes black. He has
Because it's easy.
It's easy.
And it's contrast. When I can turn completely white, I figured it was the right thing to do.
He is the whitest man on our
I am the
network.
whitest man on earth.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We do Intelligent Machines every Wednesday right after Windows Weekly. It's supposed to be 2 p.m. Pacific, usually is 5 p.m. Eastern, 2100 UTC. If you're in the club, you can watch in the Club Twit Discord. Otherwise, we stream it live on YouTube, twitch.tv, x.com, Facebook, LinkedIn, Kick, and TikTok. Did I mention TikTok? Anyway, 7 different platforms. After the fact, on-demand versions of the show available at the website, twit.tv/IM. There's a dedicated YouTube channel, so you can clip and share. Oh my God. Forget the dogs playing poker. You need shrimps plotting.
Oh my
Shrimps
God.
plotting their takeover.
Where is this?
I don't know, but it's got a porthole and it looks like New York City out the window. They might be
Who
on a
did
boat
this?
coming to you soon.
I like that there's a red string
Burke.
board.
And there's sriracha on the table, so they've got good taste. Burke, thank you for making that.
Oh,
Burke,
that's
this is
brilliant.
great.
That's
Yeah.
brilliant.
This is really good.
Burke, get it on velvet. You're going to make a fortune. A fortune, I'm
So
telling you.
great. It's better than dogs playing poker.
It is.
After the fact, you can also subscribe in your favorite podcast player. That's the best way to do it. That way you'll get it automatically as soon as we're done. Audio and video available in every podcast player. If you do subscribe, leave us a great review, and maybe if it's a little bit interesting, a little bit funny, Paris Martineau will read it on a future episode.
Jeff, one of your haters from CNN left a review.
Oh, God.
Did he say how awful Jeff was on CNN?
No, it's
I
always
can't stand Jeff Jarvis. He's a complete left-wing lunatic.
Yes. As we all
He's our left-wing lunatic.
I got dusted by Scott Jennings. That was the line that was out
You
there.
sure did
there
not.
Were 100.
You sure did not.
You did not.
You were on the side of the angels. And you know what's great is the host. What was her name? I forgot.
Abby Phillip.
Abby Phillip was dynamite.
Oh, she's just great, but Scott Walker kept screaming over her. I finally at one point said, "Let her talk."
Yeah.
She's the host. She doesn't exactly need my help, but it's just so irritating.
Yeah. I noticed that they both were shouters, which was not great. Yeah.
I want to ask CNN to book me on something where I don't have to shout.
I know.
But I think they book you because you can shout.
Yeah,
they like that format. I do not like it. As a viewer, I tune it out. It's upsetting. It's too upsetting. I don't need the upset. I'm still trying to end the show.
We'll always be ending this show.
Thank you. Always be ending. That is the name of the show. Always be ending. Thank you for joining us. We will see you next time, unless we just keep the microphones on and stay right through the week on Intelligent Machines. Bye-bye.
I'm not a human being.